Yeah, so my name is David Larkins. I am the line editor for the King Arthur Pendragon role-playing game. I've held this position for about a year and a half now, and happy to welcome all of you to the adventure of the Great Hunt. So this is a one-shot scenario. You'll all be playing pre-generated characters who are famous knights of Arthurian legend who are going to be called upon to undertake a great and legendary hunt, as you may have gathered. So, with that out of the way, we are going to do a little bit of a session or a system overview, rather, just for those of you who are not as familiar with Pendragon. And I did send out a link to a one-page system reference as well, if you want to go back to that during the game session. But before we get into that, let's just go around and have everyone introduce themselves. So we'll start with, well, I'll just go in the order that's on my screen here. So I've got Avgar the Lucky from RuneQuest.
My name is actually Marco, but this,
Yep.
again, as I said, this is left over from a RuneQuest game, and I'll change it over as soon as
No
I get my
problem.
character sheet.
No problem.
I have played a lot of basic role-playing, but never Pendragon. And I'm in California, and it's 7 o'clock, more or less.
All right. And next we've got Scott, who's playing Sir Gareth.
Hey, I'm Scott. I have played Pendragon a couple of different times, a few campaigns, and I am just outside of Madison, Wisconsin.
Nice. And let's see here. Next we have got Mike, who's playing Sir Kay.
Yeah, I'm Mike. I'm in the mountains of western North Carolina. I've played Pendragon a fair bit, but it has been quite a few years. Thanks.
Excellent. And then we've got Sam, who's playing Sir Palamedes.
Yeah, I'm Sam. I'm here in Chicago. I have not played Pendragon, but I've been really eager to do so.
Awesome. Well, welcome, and I hope this is a good introduction to the system. Let's see. So then next up, we have got Sir Tor, who is being played by Steve.
Hey guys, I'm Steve. I'm not familiar with the Pendragon system at all, but I've been looking forward to playing it for a while. I have a twice weekly game of Call of Cthulhu, so I'm most familiar with the BRP system. I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Cool. And last but not least, we have James, who's playing Sir Yvain.
Good morning, I'm James. I'm currently here in Atlanta. I haven't played Pendragon before, but I have listened to most of the Great Pendragon campaign.
Indeed. Welcome. And yeah, I did not mention I am in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So, yeah. So it's morning for all of us. It's more morning for some of us than others. But we'll do our best. All right, great. So with all that having been said, we are ready to dive in. I think everyone should have their character sheet in Roll20. If you cannot see a character sheet in your journal, let me know. But otherwise, we will just do a quick little system overview.
Okay, so this is where my ignorance of Roll20 comes in. Where's my journal?
All right, so you've got the chat window there. You see some tabs up top. There's one that looks kind of like a little newspaper article. If you click on that, there should be something that says characters, and you should have a character that you can open up.
Oh, I see up top. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Journal box. Oh, I need to be in the journal, huh?
Yeah.
There he is.
Great. And yeah, and then once you open the sheet, there's some tabs there, bio and info. The bio is just a repeat of the information I sent out yesterday. you can review that at your leisure. And then the character sheet tab is going to be the, where the action is. So everything should be good to go there in terms of rolling. You just click on the skill, trait, passion, or attribute as appropriate. It'll roll it for you. So, speaking of rolling, Pendragon is a variant of the basic role-playing system. So you all have some familiarity with that. You'll notice right away the main difference is that it is based off of a D20 and not a percentile dice. But the odds are, comparable. Higher is better. You want to roll under your target number. If you roll equal to your target number, it is a critical success. And generally, well, always rather, rolling higher is always better. As long as you don't go over, of course. Ergo, that is why rolling equal to your target value is a critical success, because that's the best possible roll you can make without failing. If your target number is under 20, then rolling a natural 20 is a fumble. Comparable to rolling a 96 to 100, in Call of Cthulhu or RuneQuest. However, once your target number reaches 20, it becomes impossible to fumble, and a 20 becomes a critical success. So there's a little bit of a flip that occurs at that point. If your target number is above 20, then you're going to add the difference to your dice roll. So, for instance, if you had a horsemanship of 23, you would roll d20 plus 3. Therefore, you're always, increasing your odds of rolling a better success. Also, that bonus, if it boosts your dice roll above 20 or 20 or above, you crit. So it increases your critical range. So that horsemanship of 23, d20 plus 3 means you can never roll less than 4, which is good. And it means you're going to have a critical success on a 17, 18, 19, or 20. So, that's really the core mechanic. The only other dice you're going to roll are d6s, and those are rolled for damage. Everyone has their own native damage attribute, which is right up there under your other attributes. Your horses have a damage attribute that you get to roll if you manage to pull off a charge with a lance. So, that's always preferable if you can manage it. The question is, can you manage it? Of course, you need the distance, you need the space, you need to be able to get up to speed to do a lance charge. So not always possible, but devastating if you can pull it off. Also, if you critical on a combat roll, you do double damage. So you roll double your pool. So I think most of you have Andalusian chargers, which do 7d6 damage. So on a critical lance charge success, you're doing 14d6 damage. So, pretty devastating. Armor works same as in RuneQuest. It's damage reduction. There are no hit locations. So you're just deducting the amount of points of your armor from the damage done. We'll get into opposed dice rolls, but under certain circumstances, if you score what's called a partial success, you do get additional protection from your shield. So that's the basic mechanical core of the game. We have skills, we have attributes, which would be familiar from BRP. You'll notice that the attributes are, kind of a slimmed down version of your standard BRP array. There's only 5. There's no intelligence attribute, notably. There's no power attribute. This is because these are expressed in your traits and your passions. So your traits are a set of paired oppositional personality descriptors, you could say. Chaste, lustful, merciful, cruel, trusting, suspicious. And these are aspects of your personality that help determine your behavior. If your trait is under 16, you can always roll against it by choice. So if you're like, let's say you had a generous of 13, and you were in a situation where you were being asked to give something away, and you're kind of, as a player, you're like, I don't know, I mean, you're always free to make that decision, of course, but maybe you just want to leave it up to the dice. You would roll d20 against your generous. If that succeeds, then that's indicating, yes, I am going to be generous in this instance. I am going to give this peasant some money or what have you, or let somebody keep something of value rather than insisting on taking it. But if you fail, then you would roll against the oppositional trait of selfish. And if that succeeds, then you're going to act selfishly. If they both fail, then it goes back onto you, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I do have to make a decision after all. But, you can kind of leave it up to the dice. It's a fun little way to just kind of introduce a random element into how you're going to play your character. Now, if the trait is a 16 or above, that is a notable trait. So take note of your notable traits, because these are going to be the traits that are driving your roleplay. These are also the traits that you have to roll against if a question comes up. So let's flip it around, and let's say that you had a selfish of 18, and there was a situation where it would be beneficial to you to be generous. You have to roll. You cannot just say, I'm going to give this thing away, or I'm going to let this person keep this thing. You have to roll and try to succeed on generous. And with a generous of 2, you're probably not going to, right? So the more notable your trait, the more likely you are, obviously, to act in accordance with that. The oppositional traits always total out to 20. So what you'll see looking at your character sheets is some of these notable traits are pretty high. And once they hit 20 or above, the oppositional trait is a 0, which means you're never going to act in accordance with that trait. You're always going to act in accordance with the notable trait. So if you're notably, modest, you're always going to be modest. Some of you have directed traits. That just simply means that when you're dealing with the object of that directed trait, it's going to boost that indicated trait by that amount. So I'll just throw Sir Dinadan out there. Sir Dinadan has a directed trait of suspicious of women, plus 15. So when he's dealing with women, he's going to be much more suspicious than he normally is. So that's traits. And then passions are sort of related. These are the things that you just really care about. Obviously, these are things that you're passionate about. And you roll against these in order to give yourself a boost to a skill. So usually this comes up in combat, right? If you're, say, defending your honor, somebody has insulted you and you're in a duel, you could roll against your honor passion and give yourself a bonus if you succeed on that roll to a combat skill of your choice. So let's say if you were in a joust, you could give yourself a bonus to your lance skill. Or, if it's a sword duel, you give yourself a bonus to your sword skill. It can come up in other ways, though, of course. Any skill can be boosted by a passion. So the way it works is you roll against the passion. If you succeed, you get a plus 10 to that skill, to the skill value. If you get a critical success, you actually get a plus 20 to the skill, which obviously guarantees success and will increase your range of getting a critical success. If you fail, you are going to get a penalty against your skill because you're feeling disheartened. And if you fumble, that's the worst, because that's indicates madness. Your passion has overwhelmed you, and it's somewhat analogous to how sanity works in Call of Cthulhu, because at that point it kicks over to me as the game master to determine what happens, like sometimes madness can mean like running off screaming into the woods. Sometimes it can mean going into like some kind of frenzy, or any number of other outcomes. So it's kind of that's when things can really go off the rails in a really fun way. Personally, I think. But just so you know, the way I like to run Pendragon, if you have a lower passion, like if it's a 10 or less, if you fumble, I'm not really going to penalize you too badly with madness. I find that when passions are low, people don't want to roll against them because they don't want to take that risk of failure or madness. So I don't tend to penalize characters with lower passions who fail. That's just a little table rule of mine. So that about covers the basics. Does anyone have any questions?
Just one. You mentioned directed traits.
Yes.
Where would they show up on the sheet here?
If you had one, it would be down under the traits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Under
But
dollars or something.
yeah, they're not super common, so don't be surprised if you don't have one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'm just going to step out for a second to get a printed copy of my character sheet, so I don't have to flip back and forth every 5 seconds.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward system. It's kind of streamlined BRP, if you will. Although I mean BRP is already pretty pretty straightforward. So, but yeah, it doesn't take too much to get used to, I think.
Oh, and you said the passions are usually invoked for combat, but can they be invoked for any skill? If you're romance or something like that, if you've got
Absolutely, yeah,
okay.
Absolutely, yeah, very much so, and I encourage you to do so. This is not a super combat heavy scenario, so there will be opportunities to use other skills for sure. So by all means, another common one that you'll see a lot getting boosted by passion, of course, is orate. If you have to get up and give a good speech, right? You want to get impassioned and get really fired up to do it. But certainly it's, basically the way passions work is like, if you can justify it to me, then, go for it. But you do have to sort of justify it in game, right? You can't just start, spamming your passions and try to get something, on the off chance it'll work, right? So, that's the other thing I should mention about passions is that any given passion can only be used once a day, once in a 24-hour period. So, use them wisely. Also, if you impassion a skill and you still manage to fail it, there is a chance to suffer shock from that. Because obviously you thought you had it in the bag and then it didn't work out. What the heck, So, yeah, they're powerful tools, but they can backfire those passions. But in my experience, you shouldn't be afraid to do that because the Arthurian mythos is all about, swinging for the fences, right? It's all about high emotion, high drama, doing things even though it's not really the thing you should be doing, and just letting your passions and letting your notable traits kind of guide your character. And that's where the real fun stuff can come out.
So to that end, actually, could you just say again or explain again what I think I have the idea of how, when we'd want to kind of invoke our virtues or roll against our virtues, but the flaws, is that something that we as players choose to roll against, or is that something that you call as the GM, do you sort of call for a roll against lustful or lazy or something like that?
Sure. Sometimes I will call for that. Like if there's a particular situation in which usually it's some kind of temptation, right? So it could be lustful, it could be indulgent. Indulgent is like, eating a lot or drinking a lot or just, reveling in material comfort. Um, but you can also, ask to roll against one, and like I said, if you have a 16 or above, obviously I can't really, especially with 6 players, I can't really keep track of everybody's, like, wait, who had a 16 in Worldly, so just, keep an eye on that and do your best to, to keep track of that. But like I said, also, you can always just ask to roll, like, I don't know if I trust this guy. Can I roll trusting suspicious? The thing is, sometimes you'll just roll against one trait, but usually you're rolling against the oppositional traits, and you'll always roll the left hand trait first, and then go to the right hand trait if that fails. So, if
Okay.
you're, if you don't know if somebody's like trustworthy or not, yeah, roll that trusting suspicious, and if you succeed on suspicious, I might give you a little bit of a clue, like, yeah, it actually turns out, maybe this guy, he's not acting like a local. He's kind of might be from another part of the country. And who knows how people do things around there. Or something like that, right? I give you a little bit of a reason to be suspicious. But yeah, so I think that about covers it. Obviously there's little ins and outs with like hit points and getting wounded and healing and stuff, and we'll cover all that as the game goes on. So, one other thing I should mention is that everyone has a squire, so your squire is noted on your sheet. This is an NPC who is there to follow you around and help you out. So they have first aid. They can arm you if you get disarmed, or bring up a new weapon for you. They can fetch a horse for you, perform menial tasks and manual labor for you. In fact, if you as a knight perform manual labor, you could lose honor. You could lose points from your honor passion. So there are various actions that can cost you honor as a knight. And of course, actually, the last thing I absolutely should mention, because it is kind of the core of the game, is glory. And glory is the thing that all knights are trying to acquire. So you all have a beginning glory total, and like everything else in the game, higher is better. So things should go in precedence of glory. The more glory you have, the more you're entitled to, be the first to challenge someone, or be the first to take on a challenge, right? Or take on a task, or, get the recognition, So glory just gives you precedence, basically. It also can factor in as a bonus on certain skills. So like the more glorious you are, the more likely people are to give you the benefit of the doubt. So like it does boost some courtly skills, like orate, for example. It makes you more recognizable. So your heraldry and recognize, or people rolling heraldry recognize to see if they know who you are, will get a bonus. So it just has little subtle, benefits in that way. But for the most part, it's just there as a method of ranking. Glory is not tied into how good of a person you are. That is your honor passion. So even the most infamous and dastardly knights might have a high glory total. But you get glory for, doing any number of different deeds. Obviously, slaying monsters would be one of them, but also, performing on your harp at court could get you glory, or conducting a romance can get you glory, winning a tournament can get you glory, or, germane to this scenario, being involved in a notable hunt can get you glory. So these are all ways that you can acquire glory, and as I said, the more glory you have, the more notable you are in general in the game world. So that, I think, about covers it. So if we want to go around and just have everyone introduce their characters, I think everyone kind of has an idea just from the summaries I sent out, but just as a refresher, why don't we start with Sir Yvain?
Let's see. I am noted for my energy, for my tendency to justice, for being for being valorous, and for being suspicious of women. But that's basically it.
All right. Let's see. Sir Yvain's. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to Sir Tor.
Hey, so my bio is I am the bastard son of King Pellinor, and I did want to ask real quick because I thought that would be a bad thing when I requested him, but it seems like he's pretty well taken care of. So is that is he, I guess, acknowledged as a son? It says he's firstborn, but how does that work?
So yeah, you are an acknowledged bastard of King Pellinor. The reason why that doesn't really count against you is that King Pellinor really got around. And he has a lot of bastard children.
Gotcha. Am I actually in line for the throne then, or just kind of well taken care of?
You're taken care of, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So let's see. Notable traits are modest, merciful, generous, energetic. He's pretty energetic with an 18, but he's mostly valorous with the 21. So those are his notable traits.
Cool.
He has no directed traits. And that's Sir Tor.
All right. How about Sir Palamedes?
Yeah, so Sir Palamedes is a Saracen who was a rival with Sir Tristan for the love of Isolde, where he came out the worse. He's notable most of all for his mercy, but he's also his other notable traits are he's energetic, generous, prudent, spiritual, trusting, and valorous, but merciful most of all.
All right. One thing to note that's not reflected on this sheet, but so there's different cultures in Pendragon. The default is Cymric, which is, sort of the native British culture. Obviously, Sir Palamedes is not that. His culture is called Zazamank, which is, sort of a medieval term for North African. And so different cultures have different cultural skills. And so for the Cymric Knights, for example, your lance and your spear skills are always going to be the same. So if you raise one of those, it'll raise the other one. So they're very good with any kind of long, sharp, pointy stick, basically, whether it be a lance or a spear. For Zazamanks, your first aid skill actually is called medicine, and because you're sort of the inheritor of the ancient Greek lore of medical care that was preserved outside of Western Europe. And so first aid normally is just good for like binding wounds, field dressing, that kind of thing. For the Zazamanks, medicine also covers the skill normally not available to knights, which is called chirurgery, sort of a early medieval version of surgery. So as the name would indicate, that's good for long-term wound care. Probably won't come up in this scenario, but who knows? Someone might get gored by a boar, and need some kind of recuperation. So just wanted to note that for you.
Great.
All right, Sir Kay.
Sir Kay, the Seneschal, is Arthur's foster brother. He has a biting wit, badmouths everyone at court, warfare. He's brave and bold, but unlucky. He's serious and stern in his duties, and but he's jealous of knights who are able to adventure. He is notable for his for being energetic, vengeful, cruel, trusting, and especially valorous. And he's quite on in years. He's 55. I don't know how that is relative to the other knights, but he's...
Yeah, we've definitely got a range of age. Speaking of which, Sir Gareth, I believe, is the baby of the group.
Yeah, he's only 21. So one of his brothers is far more well known, Sir Gawain. Before he became a knight, he spent a year as a kitchen servant where Sir Kay picked on him mercilessly. But because he is so forgiving, he was able to take that, whereas his brothers probably would not have. He's also very modest, but he would never ever tell you that because that would be too proud.
Right. Yeah, how do you tell someone you're notably modest?
I'm not that modest.
Right. All right, and that leaves Sir Dinadan.
Oh, actually, I went before, but I did miss something. I'm known as a jester and a japer who plays practical jokes and has a caustic opinion about romance. And I'm particularly friendly with Sir Tristram, and Sir Palomides, because Sir Palomides is a friend of Sir Tristram. So,
yes, you guys have a history together. You know each other. So yeah, some of your characters do know each other. Some positively, some negatively, as we've seen.
I think that leaves Sir Yvain.
Sir Yvain, that's right. Thank you. I was like, who did I miss? All right.
Sir Yvain is the son of Morgan Le Fay, but he loyally serves King Arthur, who in turn trusts him, which is a good thing. He is notably chaste, honest, just, merciful, prudent, spiritual, temperate, and valorous. And he has a personal lion named Snuffles.
You can name the lion whatever you want. That was actually from my playtest. So, but if you like Snuffles, go with Snuffles.
I think it's perfectly appropriate.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that is everyone. So we will just roll on immediately into the action. So the sort of default way of playing Pendragon is, it's really, it works for one shots fine, but it also is set up with the assumption that, you're going to play a campaign that's going to stretch over many game years. And so the idea is usually you play one scenario per game year. And then you kind of just go through the whole Arthurian chronology, Pendragon is a purposely anachronistic game. It is, I like to say, it's a view of the 5th and 6th century Dark Ages in Britain as imagined by a medieval storyteller in the 15th century, right? So without the benefit of archaeology or historiography or any kind of study of the way people actually lived, you're just going to kind of project back and assume that hey, things were much like they are today with knights and castles and squires, chivalry, and all that other good stuff. So it mixes up and mashes up a bunch of different periods into one holistic reality. So when I say that the year is 540, it's not the year 540 that we know from history, but rather the year 540 as imagined by a medieval tale teller. And Arthur has been king for 30 years now. Peace reigns throughout the land. Chivalry is in full bloom. This was a concept introduced by Arthur as a way of increasing justice and equity in the land. And but at the same time, the peace has come with a price of boredom. You know, as knights, you're all trained to fight. You're all trained to serve your lords. You know, and without strife and conflict in the land, there's not a whole lot to do. There's tournaments. You know, it's not the same. You know, but there is also a strange enchantment that has settled across Britain. Perhaps the doings of the enchanter Merlin, who disappeared and has not been heard from for nearly a quarter century at this point. But, you know, perhaps his magic lives on. Perhaps there's something else at play. But there are strange wonders to be found throughout the land, which is, you know, perhaps the only saving grace in these days of sort of, you know, decadent nobility. So, there's not much to do but, you know, feast and joust and hunt. And so the 6 of you are gathered at a well-appointed hunting lodge in the Camelot Forest, which, as the name would imply, is not too far from the city of Camelot. And this is a lodge belonging to an old knight and renowned hunter named Sir Servaus le Bruse. The walls of his hall are bedecked with horns, antlers, tusks, and other trophies won in a lifetime's hunting. And but these days, due to his advanced age and crippling gout, he doesn't get out much anymore. So he mostly enjoys sitting by a fire, his leg propped up on a padded stool, spinning tales of the old days. So you have all had a fine feast at the high table of Sir Servaus, and he is opining on the wondrous properties of various animals. He knows a lot about the natural world, and you know, and he's in the midst of telling you all about it. So he's spinning a tale at this moment about the panther. And so he says, yes, well, the panther. Physiologus opined that this was the only animal to consider the dragon as a natural enemy. They say that when the panther's dined and is full up, it hides away in its den and goes to sleep. After 3 days, it wakes up again and emits a loud belch, and there comes a very sweet smell from its mouth, like the smell of allspice. And when other animals have heard this noise, they follow it wherever it goes, because of the sweetness of this smell. But the dragon only, hearing the sound, flees into the caves of the earth, being smitten with fear. There, unable to bear the smell, it becomes torpid and half asleep, and remains motionless as if dead. So at this point, everyone who has the skill Religion Christian can make a roll against that.
And in order to do that, we just push kind of the button.
Yep. I'll do it for you. So what we're looking at here is to roll equal to or under your value, but then the higher you roll, if you succeed, the better. So I'm going to compare how everyone rolls.
Okay, where does the result come up?
Over in the chat window.
In the chat window. Okay, I see. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I clicked on it and I get a pop-up window that says import value.
Yeah, okay, so that's if you have a bonus. So normally you would just say submit.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant. Okay.
No success
So
there.
no success. So it looks like the only one who succeeded was Sir Yvain, which is not surprising.
He did not
All
roll in a vein.
Indeed. All right. So Yvain, this sort of sparks a brainwave for you. You've heard of the Panther in this context because there's a comparison with the Panther's 3 days of torpor to to the biblical stories of Jesus and the resurrection. So and then of course obviously the Panther's sweet belch driving away the dragon is a pretty obvious comparison to the devil being repulsed by Christ's power. But even more so, the sweet smell of the belch is analogous to the animals following that smell is analogous to the flock coming around Christ's manifestation.
A most holy animal.
Indeed.
I'll relay this information to the rest of the knights and present.
Okay. Also, I'm going to award glory as it comes up. So on your character sheets, you have a section that says "Glory this game." You can just log it there, and we'll just have a fun little mini game with a no prize at the end to see who can amass the most glory over the course of the session. So, Sir Yvain, you gain 10 glory for succeeding on that roll and sharing it with the group. Up to the rest of you as to how you wish to, take this allegory. Whether it's just, bunkum as far as you're concerned, or, whether it's like, he makes a fair point, But as you're all musing over this, the steward of the manor enters. And he comes before Sir Servaus, and he says, "My lord, an arrival, Sir Ector." And Sir Kay, for you, this would be most surprising because Sir Ector is none other than your aged father.
Right.
So Sir Servaus, of course, says immediately to bring him in. And yes, this quite old knight comes in breathless and actually looking a little bit singed. His clothes look like they like maybe he ran through a fire or something. And so he comes in and he says, he says, "Please, ale, wine, something. I've been writing for 2 weeks straight. I make for Camelot, but I am near death." And so, of course, the household immediately leaps to action, and Sir Ector is put up and given refreshment and some water to wash his hands and his face, and it takes a little while, but he finally gets settled in. And so at last he is able to speak, and he turns to UK and he says, "Son, I'm glad to find you here. Our lands around Berwyn are under terrific threat. A terrible dragon has risen up and is vexing us most grievously. Fields set afire. None can stand against it.
Dragon? Did you confront the beast?
I did. I rode out with our household, and I was the only one who returned. I barely escaped with my life. Sir Tor, your lands as well. I'm afraid they are under direct threat from this dragon.
My God! And I stand up. What time of day is it at this point?
Oh, it is evening. It is evening.
This evening. Must away ere the morning. Shall not stand. A dragon, you say?
Yes, it is a terrible beast. I've never seen its like.
It's a 2-week ride back to our lands. Is that right?
Indeed.
Okay.
I must prepare. This must not stand. He's extremely valorous, so
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So how many knights rode out against this creature?
It was me and 5 others.
Agreed. That's my squire. Begin preparations. We leave in the morning. Will any knight stand with me?
Oh, I'd be happy to ride with you, Sir Tor.
I
Sir
shall do so
Palamedes
as
leaps
well.
up as well. Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, of course. So, do we know where this creature's lair is?
Yeah. So Sir Ector gives you a description. You know, it's seems to have emerged from some caves up in the hills of Berwyn, which is in Kingdom of Norgales, which would be like modern day northern Wales.
It's strange. We were just speaking of dragons as well.
Were you indeed?
So, can I roll? This tale about the panther. I know you brought a religious parallel, but have I heard any folklore about this? Maybe.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, if you want to roll folklore, absolutely.
So, roll the 9. I have a. I don't know if does this system take into account the +4 if I have a 24?
No, you have to enter that yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 13 success for folklore.
So
Nice.
it actually rolled a 5, so it must have given you that bonus. If you-
did it?
if you hover over
If
the
you
9.
hover over it. Okay. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
so
success
it did do it.
regardless.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good to know. Don't want to double your bonuses. All right, cool. So excellent. Yeah, Sir Kay is well versed in the ways of folklore, and because he is often dealing with people from all walks of life in the course of running things. You're the seneschal of Camelot, of the king's court, so you have to sort of liaise with people from all walks of life, and you have heard various tales about dragons. Do you want to know how it relates specifically with the panther, or just about dragons in general?
Well, yes, something about dragons would be useful, but I'm particularly interested in this, this tale of this panther being able to sort of subdue a dragon somehow.
Yeah. So what you have heard is that the story that Sir Servals shared, tracked with what you've heard. You've heard this story of panthers and dragons before, and what you had specifically heard was that certain animals are better in terms of like feeding the panther for producing the richest belch, if you will. So really it's actually 6 animals, which I will list now. The cub of a lion, the crane, the stag, the eagle, the lamb, and the unicorn.
Yeah, so I'll tell everyone that I've heard this tale, and Sir Vane, we may perhaps need to feed your lion to a panther.
Oh, um, uh, but the lion is not a cub, at least, so perhaps Snuffles can be spared. Um, Snuffles may have a cub. I don't know.
That's a good question, actually.
Well, yeah, we shall see. How old is Snuffles again?
Let me see if I have that.
Definitely not a cub.
Doesn't say Snuffles has 250 glory, but does not have an age.
It's more of a joke on Kay's part.
Yeah.
So.
Now-
But yeah, I'll share with everyone. These creatures. 6 of them. So these are 6 possible ones, but we don't know which might be the finest to feed to the panther. Is that right?
Or rather, if you feed the panther these 6 animals, it will give it the greatest belch.
All 6 of them.
Yes.
Okay.
So Sir Tor has already spoken in a valorous and perhaps energetic way, which are both notable traits. But should I maybe roll for prudent as to whether I actually want to get these animals or?
Yeah. So actually, that can be a great opportunity to do an opposed valorous versus prudent roll, and considering the circumstances, I'm going to give you a modifier. So a lot of times in Pendragon, we have what are called reflexive modifiers, where there will be a negative modifier on one roll and then a equal positive modifier on the other. So due to the rather extreme nature of this threat, the modifier to valorous would be a -15, and the modifier to prudent would be a +15.
Okay, so that puts my prudent over 20. Would that be an automatic success at that point? Or
It would indeed, but you're going to roll valorous first just to see
okay.
what happens with that.
Okay, so it's 21 minus 15. Putting in, what, 6?
6 or less, yeah.
Yes. Let's just submit that. So I forgot to put a modifier in there. But yeah, at 15 minus 15, that's 0, correct?
Well, the modifier is to the target value rather than the roll. So it'd be a 15 against your 6. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an easy way to modify the target value in this. So sometimes it's just like, mentally note it, roll it, and we'll see, like what you did. So, okay, so that's a failure on valorous, which means now you're going to roll prudent with the +15.
Okay. Oh, hang on, let me bring that back up. Sorry. Prudent. Modifier. Let's try. I do get a little thing that comes up. So yeah, that's a critical success. There we go.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, you're critically prudent, so.
Yeah. I think it is wise before we go rushing in to find these animals. Sir LeBrouge, you were telling us about these beasts, and this is your lodge. Do you have any idea where we might find some of these?
Ooh, well, let's see here. Certainly some of these animals, I'm sure, could be acquired through means of simple transaction with your peasants and vassals. But lion cubs, well, those you're most likely to find up in the woods around Lambor and Lonazep. Well, let's see. Eagles, of course, are quite common in Escavalon. Unicorns. Well, unicorns cannot be hunted.
Sir Dinadan is going to step out for a minute. And when he comes back, he'll drop this cat down in front of you, and he says, "Behold, the first, our noble lion cub."
Nice.
That's just my old mouser. That is no lion cub. Oh, I see what you did there, Dinadan.
Well, he has a lion's heart.
So if a unicorn may not be hunted, how might you suggest we go about finding one?
Why don't we have everybody roll their chaste trait?
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice. The window just
Seemed to work.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Who do we not have so far? Did everybody roll? Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. Who rolled the best? Looks like Yvain yet again. You dog. All right. So, Yvain, you know the answer to that question. The unicorn cannot be hunted. Or rather, it can be hunted, but it can never be caught. It is fierce, strong, and swift. To tame the beast so it can be captured, a virgin girl is placed in its path. The unicorn, seeing the maiden, comes to her and puts its head in her lap and falls asleep. The hunters can then easily capture or kill it.
Why, yes, we must have a virgin to place in the path of the unicorn. In our holy land, there must be plenty of virgins about, of course.
And did you say it could be hunted before that, so we can possibly
Oh.
find out where it is?
Yeah, you can quote unquote hunt for it. It's just you'll never capture it, basically.
Would that information indicate where unicorns might generally be found? Or would that be something else?
Not necessarily, but what we'll do here, for the purposes of this scenario, is that if you kind of win the opposed trait roll that's associated with the animal, I'll give you a +10, like as if you were impassioned, right? To a roll to like kind of follow up on that. So you can make a hunting roll with a +10 bonus to get an idea of where to look.
Should we all roll at this time, or
Just for Yvain, yeah.
Okay.
So you rolled a 1, which is always a success. And so you would know that the moors of Cornwall are a good place to look for unicorns.
Yes, we must to Cornwall to find a unicorn.
And in fact, I will take you all over to the map here. And let's see. We will put the unicorn on the map. There it is. Okay. So that's one sorted. So what we can do is, for each one of these other animals, I'm going to have everybody make similar opposed trait rolls, trait or passion rolls, and if we get some successes, we'll get some more leads. So
Great.
for the Lion Cub, let's get a merciful roll from everybody.
All right.
All right. Is that a critical, I see?
Mhm.
All right. So, Sir Dinadan. Appropriate. So, in spite of your japery, which, by the way, take 10 glory for that, you do know, that lion cubs, that the lion is the king of all animals, first of all, and that lions have many remarkable traits. Among them are the fact that lion cubs are born dead and are brought to life on the third day when the mother breathes in their faces or the father roars over them.
Hmm.
You furthermore, with that critical, know that lions can conceal their own tracks with their tails. They use their tails to brush out their tracks, so they can be a little bit difficult to hunt. Let's see, is there any other germane information here? They always sleep with their eyes open, so they are impossible to surprise. However, they are frightened by the sight of hunters with spears, and so will cower when surrounded. So they're best hunted by groups, and they fear the sound of creaking cartwheels and the sight of fire.
Well, I will share this.
All right.
Was there a
So-
particular location for the lions?
Yeah. So, Dinadan, why don't you give me a hunting roll with a +10 bonus?
Okay. Let's see. So it would be 16 then.
Sorry, +10 bonus to your hunting value rather than the dice roll itself.
Oh, okay. So it would be plus 10. So I'd have to roll 23. Well, yeah. So
Yeah, 23. So you rolled a 6, so that'd be modified to a 9.
okay.
All right, great. So you actually just heard some knights last year talking about hunting lions, right up around the Landon hills. So you know exactly where to go. Of course, finding a cub might be a different matter.
Good point.
All right, so how about for cranes? That would be an energetic roll.
Ooh.
Oh, another critical.
Nice. All right. Can we get everybody? Yes. Okay. So we got Sir Gareth with the critical. Excellent. All right. So Sir Gareth, you happen to know that at night, Cranes take turns keeping watch for enemies. The one who is on duty holds a stone with one claw, and if the watcher falls asleep, the stone will fall and wake him.
All right.
Let's see. Anything else that's notable about the crane? Let's see. I'm just going to say that with that critical, you don't even need to roll to know that cranes are most common in the moors of Anglia to the east, around the Great Wash. And they could certainly be hunted, but there might be other ways to acquire them as well. But you'll have a plus 10 to an appropriate skill, that you use for trying to acquire a crane.
All right.
Okay, for the stag, everyone go ahead and roll spiritual. All right, who did best? Looks like Palomedes. Okay, so Palomedes. All right. Interestingly enough, although you are a Saracen, you have heard some of the Christians of this land talking about how the stag is a symbol for Christ, who tramples and destroys the devil. As the stags crossing a river help each other, so should everyone who is crossing from the worldly life to the spiritual life help others who grow weak or tired. So it could also be viewed as a allegory for the value of teamwork and helping each other. If you want, you can roll hunting with a plus 10 bonus to get an idea of where to look for the stag.
All right.
Excellent. All right, the stag would be the closest to where you currently are. There are plenty of stags in the woods around Camelot, and they are easily hunted.
Great.
All right, next up we have the eagle, which would be a valorous roll. Oh, all right. Ah, so close, Sir Tor. All right. Since Dinadan has already had his, we'll give this one to Sir Tor. And so, Tor, you have heard of the eagle for its legendary behavior of being able to look directly into the sun, and that as a test of worthiness of its young, the eagle will hold them up facing the sun. The birds that cannot stare into the sun and turn their eyes away are cast out of the nest. So this will give you a plus 10 bonus to acquiring an eagle, however you may wish. Sir Servaus has already made the point that they can be found around Escavalon and Estragales. And so there. All right. And that just leaves the lamb, which would be your love of family passion. right. And it looks like everybody succeeded, which is great. And the only person who has not gotten something yet is Kay, and Kay succeeded. So we'll give this to Kay. Which is appropriate because Kay, thinks very highly of his brother, even if his love family passion is not too great. But no, the lamb is known for being able to immediately recognize its own parents by the sound of their voices, and the mother sheep also knowing its own offspring among all the lambs in the flock. And this is even more appropriate for Kay being a seneschal, because obviously acquiring a lamb shouldn't be too difficult for you, and you'll get a +10 bonus for any roll that you use to try and do so.
I mean, I assume there's lambs just around Camelot, right?
Oh yeah, indeed. So if for example, if you want that to be kind of the first task, I would just have you roll stewardship. Now your stewardship is already probably off the charts as it is,
Right?
but you'll get an additional +10 to that. So you'll probably get a critical, and we'll see what the effect of that is when we get to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So,
one other thing for Sir Kay is that you would also be aware that Queen Guinevere does maintain a royal zoo, and that there is a panther in that zoo.
okay.
Okay, so any questions?
No.
Oh, on the map are those sort of circles with the animals? Is that what you dropped in for us to make it easier?
Yeah, essentially these are the locations that you can, find these animals, and it's just a kind of, an aid memoir, help you remember where they are and what you're looking for. Of course,
So
if you want to just ride out and try and slay the dragon, that's perfectly.
shall we all go a different way and try to find a different beast, or shall we handle this another way?
Well, I guess one of the big questions is, what are we going to do with these different beasts after we catch them, to bring them back? Should we kill them and just bring them back that way, or shall we try, like with the eagle, what do we do? Bring a cage?
Do we know if the panther will eat? Does it need live prey, or will it eat carrion?
Good question.
Is that a question for a host?
You wouldn't know offhand. Well, actually, yeah. Let me give Sir Vows a roll here. He might know. He's got a good hunting. Okay. Let's see. He's got a hunting of 25. 12 plus 5 is a 17, so that's not a critical success. Personally, I've never hunted a panther. They are, of course, quite savage predators themselves, not unlike the lion. I'm not sure if they would eat dead flesh or not.
I wonder how long. Well, I guess that's unknown. The panther lies for 3 days in a state of torpor. I guess we'd have to find one to figure out how long we'd have to wait. But
Well,
damn it, in the meantime, my fields go barren.
if the queen has a panther, whoever minds the beasts for her should be able to answer that question.
Yeah,
Well,
I can ask the keeper of her menagerie if what they feed it normally. Certainly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, and perhaps for that lamb, while you're at it, knock one of those things off.
That's right. So yes, it is a decision we have to make. Do we want to split up to obtain each of these beasts, or do we want to ride together? I mean, our lands are being ravaged by this dragon, so perhaps expediency is the way to go. But some of these creatures may not be best captured alone.
Some I think we must capture in a group. The Lion Cub, the lions are frightened by a circle of spears around it. If there's only one of us hunting the lion, that makes it far more difficult. Also with the stag, it was specified teamwork is key. I think these two, at the very least, we should work together on.
Well, the lamb and the stag are nearby. Perhaps we could seek those first. And then there will be 4 beasts left.
David, knowing the lands and knowing where all these are, if we were to go as a group to each, how long would that take?
You can basically figure it's trying to come up with the phrase. It's basically 1 week per night, 1 night week, night-week, for each animal. So if theoretically, if each of you went after one of these animals, you could get it all done in a week. Okay. But as you've pointed out, yeah, some might be a little tougher to tackle singly than in a group.
Trying to look back over all the different information we have to see what each found, like the stag, symbolizes teamwork.
It would seem to make sense to hunt the stag together, then for some of the others, split off individually and have a group perhaps go after the lion.
It does seem more dangerous than a crane. Well, we are in court in Camelot. Perhaps we could convince a fair virgin to travel with one of the knights to seek the unicorn. So the lamb will probably be able to be procured here, and even if we all go after the stag, you think that'll take a week, even though it's nearby?
Can't we get the panther too? I mean, isn't the menagerie close by?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you can kind of bundle them together, right? So you can get the panther, the stag, and the lamb all in 1 week, I would say. Yeah.
So we should probably obtain the panther last, right? We don't need to be. It's already, secured. So we should. I think we should all ride out in the morning for what may perhaps be the most challenging, which I think is the unicorn.
Well, the unicorn should be easy if we have a virgin, right?
I'm going to, I don't know which skill it would be specifically, possibly romance. What skill would one need to know of a young lady of good virtue who might be willing to volunteer or have her father volunteer her for the unicorn hunt?
Actually, let's start with intrigue on that one.
Ooh, that's not going to... I hope somebody has this better than I do. Let's see.
Do you want to solve the roll, David, or?
Let's have Dinadan roll first and just see how he does, and then we'll go from there.
That's funny. Oh yeah, intrigue. So sorry, I have to minimize the zoom. Nope.
That's a no. All right. Yeah, so I think in Dinadan's somewhat jaundiced view of romance, you're kind of like, nobody's a virgin. Come on. If they say they're a virgin, they're lying. But yes, at this point, anyone else who wants to roll can certainly roll.
Notable, I'll give that a chance.
There you go.
Hey.
There we go.
Ah. Of course, Sir Tor, the most courtly of knights. Although Gareth had a pretty good shot as well. But yeah, Sir Tor succeeded best. So 10 glory for Sir Tor. And yeah, I mean, absolutely. You know of a young lady recently arrived at court, a Lady Elaine of Gentian, who is almost certainly virginal. But there's of course also a convent in Camelot.
Oh, though some women have been sent to Camelots because of their lack of virtue. Sent to nunneries because of their lack of virtue. Excuse me.
That's right. That's true. It's no guarantee. Certainly. So yeah, that's a couple leads there.
Why don't we look? Well, it doesn't matter which is farther away because that'll all take a week, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Except maybe, like you said, the lamb, stag, and what was the other one that was nearby?
Panther.
A panther.
Yeah.
Lacrane would seem to be a fairly easy thing to acquire. Why don't we go there first? Up to the marshes of East Anglia.
What does everyone say to that?
Sounds good. I say we depart at dawn.
Yeah.
In the interest of speed, should we split up? I mean, that might be what Sir Tor suggests. Maybe smaller groups.
Perhaps the crane and the eagle. They seem perhaps less of a challenge than the. Well, if we already have the young lady, perhaps the unicorn should be one of the first ones. Perhaps the crane and the unicorn.
I like that. Maybe we can gather up the lamb, the stag, and the panther when we're done with the other ones on the way back.
Right.
Okay. I'm for that.
Okay. So then the question is, are you splitting up to do those first two, or do you want to do them? Yeah. Okay. So who wants to go? Who wants to go where, basically?
I would like to go after the unicorn because I want to keep an eye on the virgin and make sure no one defiles her, or that she is not tempted.
Seems like maybe since I was aware of Lady Elaine, maybe I should also stick to the unicorn.
Okay.
One more.
And
I would be overjoyed if Sir Palomides and traveled with us, but
Sure, I'd be honored.
Excellent. All right, so we've got Palomides, Dinadan, and Tor going for the unicorn, which leaves Gareth, Yvain, and Kay to pursue the crane. All right. Now, due to the fact this is a 5-hour session, I was thinking we could take just a little 5-minute break every 90 minutes, and we are at 90 minutes exactly, and I think this is a good place. Take a little stretch break, get some drinks or food or whatever you need, and we will be back in 5. All right. We are all back, and we are off and running to find some cranes and find a virgin can then help find a unicorn. Okay, so Gareth, Sir Kay, and Sir Vane ride out from Camelot for the marshes of East Anglia. Meanwhile, we have Sir Tor, Sir Dinadan, Sir Palomides around Camelot, looking for someone who they can convince to help them find a unicorn. So let's tackle that first. What's the plan?
Well, number one, I think Sir Dinadan, you should lay low on this one. And well, why don't we take a shot at Lady Elaine to begin with, as maybe being better odds, and then use the nunnery as a backup if we can. As that, like you said, maybe a little more iffy depending on who actually went there. So, does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Sir Tor.
All right. So, arriving at Camelot, of course, this is the grandest city in all of Britain. It is a monument of the glory of King Arthur's reign, with its many shining towers, its crenellated battlements from which flutter innumerable banners displaying the coats of arms of famous knights of the Round Table and other noble houses of the land, pennants flying from every turret and tower, and its streets always a riot of activity, merchants hawking their wares, people going about their business, guildsmen, clerks, beggars, you name it. Everywhere you look, there's something new and exciting going on. But you are on a singular mission. And so, obviously, when you arrive at court, or arrive at Camelot, you should present yourself at court. So let's get courtesy rolls from the three of you, just as a formality to see how well you present yourselves.
Uh-huh.
Nice. All right. So everyone is well practiced in the arts of courtesy, and you all present yourselves before King Arthur and Queen Guinevere, and let's see. Yes. Okay. I'm just reminding myself who's actually there. So to the king's right is an empty throne reserved for the heir apparent. This is often occupied by Sir Gawain these days. Although Arthur does have two bastard children of his own, but they are usually away from court these days. So, yeah, you present yourselves at court. This is a massive hall, like almost cathedral-like in scale, with a black and white checkerboard style marble tiles on the floor, great Gothic vaulted arches overhead, from which hang yet more banners of the nobility, and little clumps of courtiers here and there, conversing, gossiping, whispering. There's always some intrigue afoot at the king's court. And so Arthur welcomes the three of you. Good to see you all again. What brings you to Camelot these days?
In order to speak with him, what would be the best kind of skill? Like, because maybe I'm not the best one to deal with Arthur. Maybe I'm just the best one to deal with.
If it's orate, I'm pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanna lay out your case, yeah, if that's what you're asking, yeah, that would definitely be orate.
Chance for
Sure.
adventure in these boring times, right?
Exactly.
Well, if nobody has any, since I have a 19 in orate, so I'm going to say, you know, noble King Arthur, we are on a great quest to seek various animals which may help us defeat a dragon, which is terrifying the land of which one of you? Is it Sir Gareth?
Sir Hector.
And yeah, Sir Hector and Sir Tor. Yeah.
Yeah, Sir Hector and Sir Tor. And I tell them about the animals that we seek and, you know, how we're going about it and that sort of thing. So, and we ask your blessing on this great quest that we go upon, which we hope shall inspire bravery and chivalry in others.
Nice. So go ahead and roll that orate. Let's see how it lands.
Okay.
Nice. So 16 out of 19 means you, gave a very nice little speech, and the more you talk, the more Arthur's kind of leaning forward in his throne. You know, he's got his elbow on the rest. You know, and he's like, whoa. You know, his eyes are kind of lighting up. He loves to hear of quests and noble deeds being carried out. So this is exactly the kind of thing he likes to hear about. And as you finish, he says, "Well, if there's anything that I can do to assist you in this quest, just let me know."
We seek a young lady of good character and high virtue to help us catch our unicorn. So if your great knowledge of this court might bring that within our reach, we would greatly appreciate it, Your Majesty.
So
though I'm not saying this to him, but maybe he's not the best judge of virtue in women, but that's like a meta thing.
That's a meta thing. Yeah. So he indeed he kind of leans back and strokes his beard and he looks at the queen and then she says well, I recently took on a handmaiden in my staff who may fit that description. Lady Elaine, please step forward. And so from amidst a little gaggle of courtiers nearby, indeed a young lady in, rich but not extravagant garb comes forth with her hands clasped before her, looking a little, self-conscious to be called out in this manner. And she says, "What say you? Are you willing to accompany these knights on their quest?" And so she looks at all of you, and you can tell she's thinking about it. So, who wants to try and kind of give her a little reassurance that it'll be okay?
I think I'll let somebody else handle this.
Yeah.
This might be my field here. So I don't know. Would that be good courtesy or whatever if I were to? Actually, what I would like to do is she pretty? What is that app or something? Is she a beautiful young maiden?
Oh yeah. I mean, we're talking, app 20, I'd say.
Oh, in marriageable age, yeah. I will take a knee with a flourish before her and say, "My lady, were you to undertake this great deed with us, I can assure you of your safety and would be much pleased, as would we all, to have your company.
Excellent. Okay, so let's see here. There's a couple different ways we can handle that. It depends on how you want to approach it. So if it's a courtesy roll, that's basically like you are pledging that you will be her bodyguard. Like you will make sure no harm comes to her. Don't worry about it. That kind of thing. If you wanted to roll flirting, it would be kind of a more romantic thing where it's like, hey, come with me, and it's a bunch of handsome knights, and it'll be romantic, and it'll be exciting, and it kind of depends on how you want to sell it, basically.
Probably have a much, or I know that I would have a much better chance with courtesy, but it seems like it'd be more fun to try the flirting. Could I impassion
That's the spirit.
That? There we go.
Absolutely, you can. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's see here. So, honor would probably be your best passion.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Romance is making a fool of Sir Tor.
Mm-hmm.
There we are. So
Before.
I have a 20 in honor. Do I just roll that and see if I fumble, and then I'd add that to my flirting? Is that how that would work?
That's exactly it. And yeah, with the 20, actually, fumble's impossible. So really, you're just rolling to see if you critically succeed.
On the honor, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Let's see how you do.
16. Oh, wait. Sorry. That's the last one.
Oh!
19 out of 20. Just missed the crit.
Oh, man. All right. Well, that's a plus 10 nonetheless to your flirting, which I see is a 14. So that would give you an effective flirting of 24.
Sounds good.
All right. Hey. So with these unopposed rolls, any success is a success. So
There we go.
yeah. All right. So okay. So Sir Dinadan, by the way, for your speech before the king, that's going to earn you 50 glory.
Ooh.
50. Wow. Well done.
And then Sir Tor, you will get 30 glory for that success. So Elaine blushes at your display, but she smiles and nods, and the queen says, "Very good then. Do not worry, young lady. You will be in excellent hands with these most chivalrous knights." And with that, we will join our other party in Anglia. So, yeah, you're in the small town of Yarmouth on the coast, and it is wet. It is damp. It is marshy. It is fishy. And you're in crane country. So how do you want to go about getting these cranes?
Perhaps some of the locals would know the best place to find some cranes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's see. How about a folklore roll for that? Let's see if you speak peasant.
That's likely going to be a no, but no, I do not.
But Sir Kay is here.
Yeah, I can roll folklore.
Excellent.
So success on folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ask a local farmer if there's or fishermen or whatever if there's cranes nearby.
All right. Meanwhile, I see Gareth fumbled his folklore, so Gareth is off, yelling at some peasant somewhere to just, demanding that he give him a crane.
Bring out the cranes!
Yeah, exactly. The peasant's like, I don't have any cranes, sir. I'm sorry. So Kay, you find a local waterman who is willing to row you out on the marshes and supply you with some nets.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll take him up on that. And so we're going to net a crane. Okay.
Indeed. All right. So how's everybody's boating skill?
Very poor.
Almost non-existent.
Not very good.
Excellent.
I do not think that this is a good idea to wear my plate mail.
You definitely don't want to wear your
excursion.
armor. No, you definitely don't want to wear your armor. That would give you a further penalty on your boating skill. So, not a good
All right.
idea.
So we're going to leave the squires with horses and armor then?
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Okay. And yeah, so within the hour, you are all on a flat bottom boat that is being punted out over the marshlands around Yarmouth. And so we'll do a little kind of quick hunt mechanic here. There's kind of different levels of resolution. There's a much more involved hunting mechanic. Or hunting system, I should say, that we'll get into as needed. But as far as the cranes go, pretty straightforward. It's really a contest of boating. So what I need is for you three to decide which of you is going to sort of be the hunt leader here, and who's going to make the boating roll, unless you guys want to go out on a separate boat. Which is certainly a possibility.
Who looks to be most comfortable in this boat? I mean, nobody's comfortable, but I guess least not comfortable.
The least uncomfortable, yeah.
Well, like I said, mine is almost non-existent, so I have a 1. I have the skill, but just barely.
So I double your skill with a 2.
Oh, see? That's way better than me.
I triple your skill with a 3, so I'm the most skilled boater here.
All right.
Well, I'm sure with great faith we will capture this crane.
Yes.
Actually, so was it the crane that I had credited on my roll for?
Yes. Let's go back to that. Let's see here. Crane. Gareth. Yes. Indeed. So actually, yeah, you would have a +10 on your boating skill.
Well, then I am a master boater now, apparently.
Oh, you just have a real insight onto where to look for cranes, Yeah, you were just reading an article on them recently.
Right.
All right. So Gareth it is. So you'll have a +10 on your boating.
All right.
Decent odds. Not good enough.
Still a failure.
Yes. You need an 11 or less. Okay. Not a fumble, though, so that's good.
Nope.
Okay, and then what I'm going to roll is the crane's avoidance. And this is just its, obviously its chance of avoiding you. All right, I succeeded. So, yes, basically your attempt to find a crane this day was not a success, sadly. So we have 2 more chances and obviously Sir Gareth was your best chance with that plus 10. But you can always try with Sir Kay and Sir Yvain. If you can think of something to justify a passion roll, you can certainly do that as well.
Well, I'm thinking maybe we might be better off splitting up. Just we can cover a little bit more area that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it,
Cool.
you know, there's a chance that you other ones may succeed.
Yeah, indeed. So who wants to go between Yvain and Kay? Who wants to go first?
Kay will go. That's fine.
Cool. Can you think of a passion that you might apply
Yeah,
to
so
this?
yeah, I've kind of grown, frustrated that, we could lose my father could lose his lands due to this, just capturing this bird.
Yeah.
So my love for family to
Absolutely.
drive that
Absolutely.
passion to.
Perfect.
All right, so I'll go ahead and roll that. That is a failure. A failure. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm disheartened.
You
I'm
are.
disheartened.
Yeah, in fact, that's going to impose a -5 to your hunting, which would make it impossible to succeed. So Sir Kay characteristically falls into a funk, having completely given up on this. So it is all on to Sir Yvain at this point. Make this happen.
So I'm sitting here thinking I'm very loyal to my king, and by God, the Knights of King Arthur are not going to fail to catch a crane, of all things. So I would like to impassion with loyalty to my lord.
All right. In the name of Arthur, I capture this crane. Give it a shot. There you go. All right. So that's going to be a +10 to your boating.
Lord,
I
all right.
will-
So that's
Oh,
10.
well, I actually failed the crane's avoidance, so all you have to do is succeed on this.
Okay.
No pressure. Oh!
Oh!
A critical success.
Nice.
Love it. All right, so Sir Yvain, you gain 20 glory for bagging a crane, and then some. I think with a critical success, you managed to capture 2 cranes actually, and both of them are taken unharmed and unmolested. Right? No lost feathers, no broken wings. So now you have 2 cranes.
In the name of the king, 2 cranes.
Coats of arms have been designed on much less. All right, so we'll pause there and we'll switch back to our unicorn hunt. So, we've got Lady Elaine accompanying our 3 knights. You make your way along the South Coast Road from Camelot through Dorset and past the city of Exeter, which is kind of the last city worth the name this far west. And soon you're upon the moors of Cornwall, seeking this unicorn. So this will be a hunting roll to attempt to locate, unicorn spoor. Not sure what that would look like. Snickers bars, maybe, or Skittles, some kind of candy. But nonetheless, Again, as with the crane hunt, you can split up, or you can have a hunt leader who is sort of taking the lead on this. Obviously, if you split up, it will make it a little more difficult to coordinate your movements. If
Coordinate our virgin, you mean?
Yeah, well, exactly. If somebody finds the unicorn, the virgin's over with this guy. What are you gonna do?
Is anyone particularly good at hunting?
Got a 13, but I was thinking that if it's possible, I might invoke prudence to encourage everyone to be extraordinarily cautious, quiet, careful, and slow, rather than charging all over the wood.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely roll prudent. It's not going to give you a bonus, but it can. Yeah, that's definitely. If you want to roll prudent just to see how you're feeling about it, you can definitely do that. In fact, why don't I have everybody roll prudent? Or rather, Sir Tor and Sir Dinadan.
Ooh.
All right, so Sir Tor is the only one who is being notably imprudent. That may come up. May be a problem. But Palamedes and Dinadan, old buddies that they are and from Cornwall, nonetheless, at least Dinadan being so, are well accustomed to hunting out here on the moors. And I would say either one of the two of you with those prudent rolls could take the lead on the hunt.
What's your hunting roll, Dinadan?
Exactly the same as yours.
Ah, okay.
And I've got a high modesty, so I think I'll let you go on ahead.
Nice.
Fair. Should I roll the hunting now?
Go for it.
Oof.
All right. That is a failure. So yeah, I mean, not surprising. These unicorns are notoriously difficult to track. And yes, in fact, I made its avoidance roll. So much like with the crane, you get three chances here. But unlike with the crane, we can continue on with the hunt leader, taking the lead. So if you want to impassion your hunting roll, and you can think of something to use for that, by all means do so.
You have a high energetic, maybe?
I do. I've got a very high energetic, and so even though we've been slogging after the unicorn for for the long day or whatever, I refuse to give up and rest until we've given it another shot.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's no problem. Why don't you actually give me an energetic roll, and let's see what comes of that. Okay, decent. On a critical, I might have given you a little bonus to your hunting,
Sure.
But go ahead with a second hunting roll.
All right.
There you go. All right. So let me roll the unicorn's avoidance. Whoa, it's a tie. I like that. That's good. So indeed, you do find the tracks of a unicorn, but it is nowhere to be seen other than it's somewhere in the region. Do you want to press on?
Should we to roll again, or should we set Lady Elaine up in some beautiful forest clearing and wait?
Yeah, that would be the question. You can try and push your luck and see if you can actually bring this unicorn into visual contact, or if you just feel like this is good enough, and you can set a camp and see if it shows itself. It's up to you.
I like that idea of having Lady Elaine wait for the unicorn nearby. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the stories tell that the hunting of the unicorn by the hunters will often be in vain, and that maybe like the grace of God, it should come to you in moments of quiet and anticipation. So I'll suggest that we kind of set up watch around a clearing and leave Lady Elaine to hopefully draw the unicorn to her.
Okay. Easily done, you know. Basically, whenever knights travel, it's actually kind of like a little entourage because it's like you, your squire, your pack. You know, then each of you have a horse, a riding horse. The knights also are leading their charger. You have a pack horse. Then with the lady, she's got her little, setup as well, and everybody, of course, travels with equipment for setting up camp, tents, cooking gear, everything. So, this is like a whole kind of like traveling caravan almost, And you get her set up in a suitable clearing on the edge of the moors, nearby to where you spotted the tracks, and of course you withdraw a appropriate distance and wait. So, what are your plans for when the unicorn shows up?
I believe we know the unicorn is supposed to present itself to the lady, lay its head on her lap, and go to sleep. So I suggest we wait until we see that. Make her as comfortable as possible. And not sure. I don't have in my notes what we do after she comes.
I think once it falls asleep, we're just supposed to. We can just
lasso
capture
it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Eat it. Yeah. Okay.
Put a bridle on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So absolutely. I mean, it's capture or kill. So if you're going for the capture, that's totally cool. Most manuscript illustrations, including the one I got this little token from, the part you can't see on that is like, it always has the unicorn, snuggling up with a lady, and then the other half is some knight coming with a spear and just spearing the thing, just like aha. Anyway, all right, so cool. So yeah, basically you set the bait, so to speak, and sure enough, within a couple hours, as you all watch from the tree line, as Lady Elaine is, just seated on a little folding stool next to the campfire, working on her embroidery. Out of the gathering dusk, this beautiful creature emerges. It is about the size of a pony, and its hide is this sort of pearlescent white. Its mane is white with like almost like glittering sparkles, reflecting the firelight and the sunset. And of course, its horn is this magnificent ivory spiraled, feature growing from its forehead. So it just very gently approaches the lady who, she looks nervous, but she is attempting to hold her cool. I'm actually going to give her a little valorous roll here. She does get a +5, so she just needs a 17 or less. Okay, there we go. And yeah, so she does hold her cool, and the unicorn approaches and then lays down and puts its head on her lap, and she sort of audibly emits a cry of delight, and she's obviously quite touched by this. She begins stroking its mane gently, and so if you wanna just kind of capture the thing, if you want to put a bridle on it, for example, horsemanship roll would be appropriate here.
I'm very good at that, but I suspect all of us are very good at that.
Some are
I have a
better than others.
23.
It's better than me.
Okay.
I don't even have a horsemanship roll.
It's
It doesn't.
under
you've got
combat
to.
skills.
Oh, combat skills.
Let's
There
see.
it is. Yeah, what did you say your score was? 23?
Yeah,
You're the man for the job.
hopefully.
All right. Hey, there you go. All right. So, yeah, 17 out of 20. More than enough. So, you stalk forward with a spare bridle and you very gently put it on the unicorn's muzzle, and it stirs only slightly as you secure it. So
I
well
will.
done.
I have a very high generous, and despite my quirk, I will say to Lady Elaine, I commend your virtue, my lady, and your bravery.
Well, you just have very high standards, so praise indeed, right?
About that romance thing I was talking about before, is there a chance I can get some of that going on the road away from Daddy?
It's like, okay, so now that we've got the unicorn. Certainly. So the romance skill is actually like knowledge of the sort of courtly romance of like
Okay.
courtly love and that kind of thing. Flirting would be your best bet there. So you can go ahead and make a flirting roll.
Okay. Ah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so on the ride back. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, so let's see. For glory awards, so Palamedes, you get 25 glory, and then Dinadan, you get 10 for the bridling. Okay, and so yeah, on the ride home, Sir Tor, you are, just kind of working your advantage from earlier, and just chatting up Lady Elaine, and she is responding in kind. She's very, very receptive, laughing at the right points, and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do is give her an opposed chaste lustful roll, and we'll just see how that goes. She has a chaste of 15, so good luck. I rolled a 12. All right, so for her, it's mostly just like, light flirting. She's just enjoying the experience. Certainly she's never been out on the road with, strange nights, and to her, it's just very, very exciting, but it's nothing more than that.
okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Always worth a try. Okay, now meanwhile, over in the marshes, we have two cranes. So leading a unicorn back to Camelot, easy enough. How about the cranes?
So I assume we're going to obtain some cages from local farmers or something, or
Easily
craftsmen,
done.
right?
Certainly, certainly.
And yeah, were we heading back from here, or are we going to go get something else?
Good question.
I can't remember. Were we going for the eagle?
I don't know that we had discussed it further, but it would make sense to just go straight on and perhaps get the eagle.
Yeah, so what's nearest, I guess?
Well, actually, yeah, the eagle's on the whole ass other side of the country. So it might make more sense to actually swing through Camelot first, unless you wanted to go lion hunting, the three of you.
I don't know. What do you think, fellow knights?
I think the lion hunt might go better with perhaps an additional few nights. And if we head back to Camelot, we can check in with our fellow knights and see how the unicorn hunt went.
So Kay's pretty anxious to get this done and get to his father's lands. I don't know if there's something I should roll on, or I think we could take a lion, couldn't we? A lion cub.
Roll prudent.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's explore our options here. So you're worried about your father. So obviously that would come under love of family, which is not terribly high for K, but in this case it's sort of practicalities, as well. Um, but let's see here.
K is more prudent than reckless, so
True.
yeah.
That is true as well. So yeah, actually, why don't we get a prudent reckless roll to start?
All right.
Because it would be a little reckless to. Okay, so you succeeded prudent, so no need to roll reckless.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
you, as much as you're worried about your family, but particularly because your love of family passion's kind of low. If it was a 16 or above, that might
Sure.
be just like an automatic, like,
Sure.
no, screw you guys, I'm going after this thing, I don't care. So
All
yeah,
right,
your prudence wins out.
So to Camelot then, and
Camelot.
we'll drop the cranes off, and we can arrange while we're there. Arrange to have the lamb, a newly born lamb ready for us when we get back. So
Okay. And of course, there's the matter of securing the panther as well.
and that, yep.
Yeah. All right.
So in the menagerie there, do they have a crane already? Because we have two. We only need one.
Should ask.
We could give one, the extra one, to the menagerie as a specimen.
It would serve as a fine gift to Lady Guinevere.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I like that idea. I think reasonably, yeah. I think they would have at least one crane in the menagerie and possibly a couple. So yeah, very much so. So between the six of you returning to Camelot around the same time, bringing a unicorn and a couple cranes, it definitely causes something of a stir. And so you are sort of presenting yourselves before Queen Guinevere in amongst her menagerie, in a under the edifice of the Keep of Gold, which is one of the royal residences in Camelot. So she's quite delighted by the unicorn, of course, and as are all the members of her court. Everyone's sort of gathered around and craning their necks and chatting, and there's even some knights up on the battlements looking down, but the cranes as well. So she says, "Have you brought these birds as well for my collection?"
One, Your Highness, we do need one to feed the leopard, or the panther. But one we would be happy to give to you to add to your collection, if it
I
pleases you.
see. And what of this panther then? Are you speaking of mine?
Yes, my lady.
What do you intend to do with it?
How's your oratory, Sir Gareth?
Not good, but I'm the one that started this, so we will go with it. Well, Your Majesty, there is a dragon plaguing your lands, and we have been informed that the panther is able to overcome the dragon and allow us to defeat this foul beast. Unfortunately, we need to feed several different creatures to the panther and then bring the panther to the dragon, where the dragon will then run in fear and fall asleep, allowing us to kill it. So we will need to borrow your panther if that is okay.
Need to borrow a panther. All right, give me an orate roll, please.
It's taking a long time on my rolls for some reason today.
No worries.
Hey.
Nice. All right. Well done. So, in fact, yes, convincing the queen to borrow her panther, I'm going to give you 50 glory for that. And so she listens with this sort of bemused smile on her face that gradually turns a bit more indulgent. And she says, "Oh, very well, Gareth. I am going to make you personally responsible for the safety of this panther. I expect it to be returned in good shape and good order once you are done with it. But it is for a good cause, so how could I say no?"
Thank you, Your Majesty. I will return it in as good a shape as it is currently.
And if you
So, yeah.
don't
Perhaps
return
better
it, she
as
will
it
let you borrow another one.
That's right.
Be the last band for you.
Your panther premiums will go up. Oh, did we lose somebody? Who did we lose? James. All right. Hopefully he'll come back soon. Okay.
So is
there
arranging
he
for
is.
the farmer to provide a lamb just, I mean, can I just do that with a stewardship roll? Just,
Absolutely. And in fact, I believe you had the success
Which I
on the Love
cannot
Family roll
fail.
as well. So that is stewardship with a +10.
yeah, so success.
All right. Excellent. So yeah, very easily accomplished for a Knight of Circay's standing. And let me just double check here. So your stewardship's 25 normally. So that would make
Yep.
it 35. So you actually got a critical success because
Oh, right. Okay.
that 6 would have a +15 on it, which would make it 21.
Okay.
All right. So 20 glory for that. And we'll just say that what's the best way for critical success in the acquiring of a lamb? I'm thinking something like you get a very healthy lamb, right? That is going to be basically you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be ready to feed to the panther at any point.
What? Yeah. Or what about having a shepherd that could help us
Yeah.
secure and transport all these animals and such, or someone
Oh, nice. Okay,
would
sure.
who would assist with that once they hear about the tale of what we plan to do. Maybe they're available to help out.
Absolutely, that's a great idea. So yeah, of course, obviously, as steward and seneschal, you have all the connections, and so that there's this, old kind of somewhat crusty but experienced master of the royal flock, and his animal husbandry skills are just off the charts. So he's going to not only provide you with the best possible lamb, but also help you transport all of these animals once you are ready for that.
Great.
Well done. All right, so let's see here. I should start ticking these off. So you've got the crane, you have got the unicorn, and you've got the lamb.
And the panther.
And the panther, yes. So that leaves the eagle, the stag, and the lion cub.
Did we say we can get the stag as well in the same week as the lamb
Yes.
and the panther?
Yes, you can get it in the same week. Absolutely.
I would suggest we all jump on that then because it calls for teamwork. And then we can split up for the lion and the eagle. How's that sound?
Of course.
Makes sense.
Sure.
I think the lion would be best with a group of us.
We could break it into 2 groups for the stag also. Just an idea.
Oh,
Yeah, we could split up for the stag and the eagle. I mean, 3 people would still be teamwork,
Very true.
but 3 people is a little bit harder to surround a lion with spears than 6.
Right.
so
And
maybe,
it's
maybe
it's
with
a more
timing
dangerous
that would
beast.
work out to the stag and then the eagle the next week, and we can both meet for the lion, like near that
Yes.
area.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Would that be possible? David?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No
Man.
So
problem.
who learned all the knowledge of the eagle?
Let's see. That would have been Sir Tor.
So Sir Tor, you should lead that
Sounds good to me.
that group.
Alrighty.
What
Anyone
would be
want to
helpful
go
with the
Sir
stag?
Tor?
Who's the best hunter? Does Sir Kay know just like who might be the best hunter of all these knights?
Let's see. I think
Does anyone have higher than?
Palamedes.
No.
Yeah, Palamedes had a 14, right?
I have a 12.
Or 12. Okay.
I have a 13.
So Dinadan.
Gareth is not a good hunter.
Who knew about the stag as well?
So-
I mean, just like
so
the eagle, that
That,
might be
that
helpful.
was me. Yeah, I got the stag.
Is
knowledge.
is Kay the best hunter with a 15 then?
He might be.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, Palamedes is going to get a plus 10 on his hunting for the stag.
Okay. So you should lead that one.
Sure.
Palamedes.
Okay. And Kay, where would you like to go? The eagle?
Sure. Go for the eagle.
All right. All right. Anyone else for the eagle?
I don't really have a preference either way, so
Doesn't sound too dangerous. I guess we could go 4 for the stag since teamwork's important, and 2 for the eagle.
Sure thing.
If somebody wants to come.
I mean, I'll help with the eagle.
Okay.
Okay, that's a vein on the eagle.
I'd say it doesn't sound too dangerous, but that's before it claws my eyes out, right?
Exactly. Uh-huh.
We
So,
didn't ask how big the eagle is.
Yeah.
You might get carried off to its nest. Okay, so very good. All right, so Tor, Yvain, and Kay depart for Estergales to find themselves an eagle, as Sir Palamedes, Sir Gareth, and Sir Dinadan ride off into the Windsor Forest to hunt for stags. Okay, so yeah, again, we'll just do a quick hunt resolution here. And let's do the eagle first. So let's see, who was Tor, right? All right, so Sir Tor, as you may remember, the eagle is noted for its propensity for staring directly into the sun, and it is a brave and valorous bird who does not flinch away from the bright light of the sun, and therefore, on a sort of allegorical level, what I'll need from Sir Tor is an awareness roll to find, or to spot rather, the circling eagles as you make your way along the coast road of Estergales near some steep cliffs. Because you succeeded on that roll, you get a plus 10 to your awareness.
Sounds good. Puts me at a 25.
Hey.
Let's see if I can do that.
All right. Oh! Ah.
Well, that would put me at a 25. I didn't. Oh, but
Yeah.
does that still crit?
That's a crit. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, very good. So, with a critical success, not only do you spot the eagles, but you actually, so you spot the eyrie of the eagles, right? You spot where they've nested, and it's on these sea cliffs. So normally, it would seem that the only way to access these eagles would be to scale the cliffs, right? But because you critically succeeded, you actually spot a very narrow trail that is tracing its way from the beach below up to the cliffs above. This might be like a local path used by shepherds or hunters or something. It's pretty treacherous, but it's less so than just trying to scale the cliffs.
this be the kind of thing we could or should drag our squires along with the cages, or does that seem a bit too treacherous?
Up to you.
They're just squires.
Yeah, they're exactly.
Have replacements, right?
Right. This is how you learn. Right. So yeah, totally your call on whether you want your squires along or not.
I guess how difficult would it be for, I guess, all of us? Like if it's going to be a tricky for even the knights, maybe it's as foolish to bring the squires. Or maybe I could make a roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. So putting your squires' lives at risk, we could look at that as a merciful, cruel roll.
Okay. So I roll merciful or cruel? Merciful first?
You would roll merciful first, yeah. That's a failure, so you're going to roll cruel next.
This is coming up pretty terrible, but fun. Get those cages, boys!
That's right. Just as a side note, if this were a campaign game, I'm not handing out checks this session just because it's a one shot, but this is when checks come in, and checks work the same way as in any BRP game. So this would be a case where it's check your cruel, and then during the winter phase when you see if anything improves, your cruel might actually inch up a little bit. You might just be that much more cruel because you forced your squires into this life-threatening situation. All right, so very good. So leading the way then is Sir Tor. How about our other two knights? Are you accompanying him up this treacherous pathway?
Sure.
Now, Kay is the better hunter. Would it be smarter for him to go, or
why not?
Because I've got my bonuses? But yeah.
No, that's up to you. The bonus applied to your awareness. So now, you can definitely hand it off to Sir Kay if you want to leave it up to him.
Yeah,
he does have the higher glory as well. So
I don't want to hog the spotlight. That sounds right.
All right, I will head up there.
Okie dokie. So this is going to be a dexterity roll. Dexterity rolls are used for any kind of physical activity like this of this nature. So in cases like this, your armor would penalize you. So you want to, much like with the boating, you'll want to do this out of armor and hope for the best.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Are we all going then, or just Kay?
I believe you're all going. Yes.
I think Kay leads it up, and Tor and Yvain, if you're up for it.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Now, could we wear our armor if we impassion? Does that sound?
So normally passions apply to skills. It's sort of up to GM fiat if to apply them to an attribute. In this case, not so much, because it's not like I would allow a passion to give you a bonus to strength. Let's say if a horse fell on your best friend or your lady love or whatever, and you're trying to push the horse off, some kind of superhuman feat of strength, But in this case, you're just trying to keep your balance, so it would just be a straight dexterity roll. So let's go ahead and get that from everybody. Nice.
I want to ask a question too, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
so, Kay is the oldest of these knights, I think, and but he's quite energetic. I mean, can you use a personality trait to provide some enhancement? I seem to remember for other roles. I mean, could Kay want to show his, that he's even, still energetic at this age as he, leads the way up this cliff.
That's fine. Go ahead and roll energetic, and if you get a critical, I'll allow a +5 bonus.
Okay.
Okay.
No critical.
No critical, but you are definitely displaying that, like, hey, I can keep up with you younger knights kind of thing. So let's see.
Ooh.
Hey! All right. So everybody made their dex rolls. Good. So you're all kind of like inching up, this little footpath here and there. The earth crumbles away beneath your feet, but you manage to keep your balance. And so as you approach the eagle nest, you begin to hear their cries of alarm as you get closer. So, Sir Kay, now is your moment to shine with a hunting roll.
All right. Yeah. 3 out of 15. So not a great roll, but a success.
A success. And let me just roll the eagle's avoidance here. All right. I fumbled it. Okay. Wow.
All right.
So basically, you're getting in close to this nest. There's some eggs in there, so the eagles are trying to defend it, and one swoops down at you, and with its talons out, and you just grab it right around the ankles, like a chicken, just like just flapping its wings and feathers flying everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you've bagged an eagle.
All right, great.
And because Sir Tor cruelly brought the squires along, you have a cage to put it in.
Yep.
The real cruel part is when we make them carry the eagle on the way down as it's bouncing around.
That's right.
Well, the real test of the cruelty is we didn't make dexterity checks for the squires to see
Excellent point.
if they made it. So
all right. So what you're going to do for your squires, what you'll see on your character sheet is age. So you're gonna it's called a Squire roll. It's basically a catch-all roll. The older the squire, the more capable they are. So just click that age button to see how they do. Oh man, those could have been really bad if you had younger squires.
Jeez.
Good thing you all have older squires.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so actually, yeah, 2 of your squires acquit themselves with panache. They're like unto spider monkeys, crawling up and down the side of this cliff. So yeah, everyone gets through that, no problem. Sir Kay, you get 25 glory for bagging that eagle, and I'll give Sir Tor 10 glory for his cruel actions, which nonetheless are going to make a good story. So,
Can you believe you made the squires go too?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, so that's the eagles. So meanwhile, back near Camelot in the Windsor Forest, we have a stag hunt going on. So, teamwork, right, is the goal here. So, who wants to lead the hunt on this one?
Did Sir Palomides have a bonus to his hunting roll because of, I think, being the one who rolled the knowledge about the stag?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it makes sense for him to lead it again.
Sounds good to me. All right, so let's go ahead and get a hunting roll from Sir
All right.
Palomides.
Keen-eyed Sir Palomides.
Hey, there you go. All right, posed by the avoidance. Okay, I failed its avoidance. So, the thing with the stag is it's not going to go quietly. You do actually have to bag this thing. And so for that, so the hunting horns blare, the hounds howl, and you pursue a stag through the woods until you come near to it, near enough to strike. All right, so alrighty. Let's see. Let's get hunting rolls from the other two of you to see how close you are when Palamedes spots the prey. Okay, Dinadan and Gareth. Whoa. Well done, Gareth. All right. So you're all together at this point. Who has the highest glory?
Let's see. Total?
Yes.
50, 60, 70. So 5,100.
5,100. Okay.
I've got 78, 62.
78. 62.
I'm way below both of those.
All right. So, Palamedes, you are the most glorious knight present, and therefore you get the first strike against this thing, unless you want to defer it with a modest check.
I am less modest than almost anything else in my virtues. So
He's going to go for it.
I will go for it.
All right, great. So there's a bit of combat. So basically, as I was mentioning earlier about lance charges, now, when you hunt, you're just wearing leathers. You have spears rather than lances. However, if you would like to roll against lance rather than spear, you may do so.
I think I'd much rather roll against lance than spear.
Okay, so charge in on this stag, basically.
All right, so just roll lance with no modifiers?
Yeah, unless you can think of a passion to apply.
No.
Yeah. All right, then. All right, a 13. Now, the stag is still attempting to get away, so I'm going to make an opposed roll of its avoidance.
Ooh.
And I failed.
Oh, right.
So since you're charging in with this hunting spear, I will allow you to make a roll with horse damage.
Oh, great. Ah.
All right, 26 damage. Get some scratch paper in front of me here. That's fine. All right. It does have sort of natural toughness from its hide, but nevertheless, that is a grievous wound that you have struck this thing. And in fact, there's a chance it might just go down entirely. Let's see here. I'm going to make 2 rolls. One to see if it's knocked down. It does not. The other to see if it maintains consciousness, and it does not. Wow.
Oh.
Okay. So, yeah, you've dealt this thing a major wound, and so basically, it just goes down and is still alive, but unconscious.
Okay. Yeah, I quickly call my compatriots over to assist in the. I guess we want to. I mean, it's a stag, right? We want to kill it. We don't, and bring the carcass back, or do we want to somehow try to bring it back alive?
Well, the point, we do have another week of hunting for the Lion Cub. I don't know if the meat would still be fresh in a week.
Yeah, if we can bring it back, that would be ideal.
That would be more glorious if we captured it, I suppose.
Fair enough. Well, Palamedes is an heir to the surgical knowledge of the ancient Greeks, so I could try to keep this stag alive.
Sure.
Draw out my spear without causing further injury.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, that didn't work. But you didn't fumble, so that's good. Um,
Not like an arrow. You don't have to push it all the way through.
yeah, you could do that as well. I mean, you could just, do a mercy killing on this thing. Um, Stewardship would be a good skill to roll. That covers animal husbandry.
Do you have anybody with more than a 2 in stewardship?
That's what I have.
No, I just have a 2.
So yeah, from your perspective as knights, you're not really trained on like how to transport wounded animals. It's
Didn't that wonderful success bring us an animal handler?
It did indeed. Did you bring him along on the hunt though?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah. He was Kay's contact.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not then.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Are we far from any? Are we like really far from anything? Could we possibly find someone who could do this?
That's an option. Absolutely. Yeah, you could send one of your squires, or even if you don't want to leave it up to the squire, one of you could ride out and see if you could find somebody.
I'd be happy to do that. I've got oratory. I could probably talk somebody into it. So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
All right, so your nearest town is Astolat, and so to Astolat you ride. The other two of you, I guess, just sort of camp out with this wounded stag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Getting into interesting territory here. So... All right, so the stag is grievously wounded. Took a major wound. Now let's see here. Okay, so it's going to be unconscious for a while. Yeah. All right, so you've got a chance. You've got a chance here. All right, so arriving in Astolat, then, Sir Dinadan, you ride in hard and immediately begin to seek for somebody who knows the ways of transporting wounded animals. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So, how do you want to go about that?
Well, I suppose there must be like a village headman or maybe a priest of the local, maybe a local priest or friar or something.
Sure.
I will find somebody in a kind of leadership position who knows the community and make my case to them.
Okay, sure. So Astolat's actually a market town. It's a fairly significant settlement. So there is a steward,
All right.
actually, who's in charge, and you meet up with him and explain your situation.
Yes.
So yeah, let's get an orate roll just to see how that goes.
Very good.
And yes, to answer Scott's question in the text, yeah, you would have some rope, so you could definitely tie up the
All
stag. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd hate for it to wake up and take off before.
Sure. Yeah, and a wounded stag's
Or
going
have
to
to
be pretty...
kill it.
Right. Okay. All right. Success on the orate roll. So you explain the situation well enough to the steward, who is a little confused as to why you would want to keep a stag alive. But nevertheless, dispatches some, like a master of the hunt from his own household along with some assistance with you. And from there, yeah, it's pretty much taken care of. You know, these guys truss up the stag, and you know, they brought a sufficiently hefty pole to hang it from, and you begin making your way back to Camelot with this poor beast just sort of hanging from this pole. All right, so that gets the stag, that gets the eagle. Everybody's back in Camelot. It is week 3 at this point, and we have got the little stag. Okay, so that just leaves the Lion Cub.
Okay, so we ride out together for the Lion Cub.
Good.
All right. All right, so for the lion hunt, I'm glad you guys saved it for last, because this is going to be the more involved hunting system. I'm going to take you over to our little chart here. Okay, so much like with the other hunts, you have the option of splitting up. You have the option of assigning a hunt leader to take the lead. We assume that you have hunting dogs with you. Your squires are with you. And just as a reminder, Dinadan was the one who succeeded his roll for the Lion Cub, so we'll get a +10 on his hunting roll, or hunting skill.
Well, in that case, though I'm modest, I suggest I be the leader of the hunt here. And
I'm fine with that. So the terrain that we're going through, is this somewhere we could bring a cart with us?
Aha, yes, good question. So you are hunting for this lion in light woodland, so yes, but it would mostly have to stay to the trails and roads.
That's fine.
Okay.
Because I recall that the sound of the cartwheels and fire were things that were mentioned as being fearful of.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's totally fine. So you got the cart. Anything else you want to do in terms of preparation?
Yes, it's easy
Bring a
enough
cage
to
of some sort.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I guess it's easy enough to make torches or something when we get out there.
Yep, you can have some torches on hand for sure. Got your spears, of course.
And just I guess a cage to put the lion in. You know, when we're
now remember, we want a lion
successful.
cub, so we don't need a huge
Right.
cage.
Right.
Good point. But yeah, the cart's still pretty good for that. Great. Anything else? Okay. All right, so we've got Dinadan leading the hunt, +10 on your hunting skill. So let's get a hunting roll from Dinadan.
Good. I've got the +10, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So that would actually have been a 19, almost a crit. Okay, so you do find some traces of lions in the area, and you were able to pick up the trail. So what this little chart is here are hunting segments, and since Dinadan is leading the hunt, conveniently at the top of the list there, you're all going to move forward or backward based on the outcome of Dinadan's roll. There might be circumstances that break you up, so we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, let's get into it here. So another hunting roll from Dinadan, please, and it's going to be opposed by the Lion's Avoidance now.
Okay, just let me minimize the avatar so I can see things easier.
Mhm.
Okay. Other hunting.
Okay, so with a plus 10 on your 13 and you rolled a 20, that is a critical success.
Standing.
All right. Well, that made it really easy because when you roll a critical success on a hunt, you actually find the prey at once. So well done.
It says we need 5 hours for this scenario.
I know, right? Well, the funny thing is, like, the last time I play tested it, the hunt took up like 3 hours because like everyone kind of went off on their own, and like somebody got jumped by bandits, and somebody ended up hunting a different animal altogether, and like so it is a little hard to gauge because sometimes it's like, yeah, critical success on the first roll. Okay, great, well done, you know. So, all right, well, very good. So, but you do have a lion to deal with. So, all right, so. You have found the lion. K is the knight present with the highest glory, so he would get the surprise round, as they call it, surprise roll. Unless K, you wish to defer.
Let's see. I think Dinadan has led us so well on this hunt. I think he should take the first attack, right? Is that right? That's to let us, right?
Yes, indeed. And so to defer in a situation like this, you would just need to succeed on a modest roll.
Okay.
And you did.
Yep.
All right, Dinadan. So in this case, it's just going to be your spear skill versus the lion's avoidance.
Okay.
All right, I failed. You succeeded. All right, so you're just going to roll your regular damage.
Okay. Let's see. Regular damage. Or Passion Squire. Under where I don't see that on the character sheet. I'm probably
It's
missing.
towards the top under the attributes.
Yeah, in the middle.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. Lion's hide. Ooh, they have a tough hide. Yes, they do. All right. So you come crashing out of the undergrowth, and the lion rears back, roaring and hissing as you drive your spear into it from the back of your mount, and the blade only sinks in about 2 or 3 inches. Right? It's not so much its hide as it's like thickly muscled, so it's very difficult to like penetrate to the vitals. So now you are in it. Now, up to three of you can attack the lion at once. So we've got Dinadan already engaged. Who are the other 2 knights? Do we want to do opposed valorous rolls maybe to see who battles their way to the front?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Not Palamedes.
Well, I am going to allow somebody else to have the glory of this hunt.
Okay. Very good, very good. So let's see. We got Tor with a 12 and Sir Kay with a 7. I think we're the next 2 highest rolls. So, okay, so Tor and Kay join Dinadan in the fight against the lion. So all of you can make your attack rolls. The lion has 2 separate claw attacks, so it's going to be dividing those between 2 of you, and so one of you will get an unopposed roll. I will randomize it. Let's see. 1 to 2, we'll say it's K. 3 to 4, it's Tor, and 5 to 6, it is Dinadan. Thank you. All right, so on a 3, that is K. I'm just going to move you guys down here so it's easier to keep track of who's where. All right, so K is the one who's not attacked. So, so K, you can make an unopposed weapon roll, spear attack. Yep. And then Dinadan and Tor, you will be opposed.
Fumble.
No, a fumble. All right, we'll cover that in a moment.
Okay.
All right. All right, so against Tor, I get a 14, and against Dinadan, I got a critical.
Ow.
Ouch. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead with your spear rolls.
Is this the opportunity to impassion?
Absolutely.
All right. All right. I think it's a good time for that.
Yes.
I don't know. Would that be maybe love, family because of my lands, or honor?
I'd say love family would be a good one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your lands are on the line, and you want to ensure the success of your family for sure. Nice.
Success. Okay.
All right. So plus 10 to your spear.
But with the plus 10.
That would actually be a critical success.
I am
All right.
passionate.
Dinadan, if you can score a critical success, that would be a very good thing.
A critical success on what?
On your attack roll, your weapon roll here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't suppose I can roll energetic and possibly get a bonus for having all this energy during melee. I don't know how the rules work.
That's fine. In this case, it would be a passion. So the passion is what would energize you.
Well,
so if you
honor
can think
them
of a
because
passion.
I want to be able to survive this whole quest and be able to help defeat the dragon and
Okay, so you're doing this for your own self-aggrandizement. So yeah, definitely honor would apply in this case.
Okay. So just a sec. Ooh.
Well done. All right, so that's a plus 10 on your spear skill.
Okay. Just a sec.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Nice.
damn.
Oh. Okay, good. So, very good. So let's see here. Let's review what we got. So Sir Kay got a fumble. Sir Tor got a critical success against a regular success, and then Sir Dinadan tied on the critical. Okay, so we'll do the critical success last. So I apply the rule where when you tie on a critical attack, you both take a little bit of damage. It just represents bruising and cuts and that kind of thing. So Dinadan, if you want to roll a D3, you'll do some damage to the lion. The lion will do D3 damage to you. Okay, so the lion takes 2 points and you take 3. This ignores armor. It's just, kind of, like I said, bruises and scratches. Okay, then we had a fumble for Sir Kay. A fumble with a spear means that basically, you just try to drive your spear in on this lion, and its muscles are so tight that the spearhead actually just snaps off at the base of the shaft, right? And so you've now got a long stick in your hands. You have two options on the next round. You can either draw your sword or call for your squire to bring you a replacement spear.
Okay.
In which case the squire would roll against their age, and like we did earlier.
Right.
Okay, and then we had a critical success for
Yes.
4, so that is double damage. You're just gonna tap that damage button twice and total it up.
Sounds good. That's not the combat skill. Where would that be?
Central column, right up under your attributes there.
Damage. Okay, so tap it twice.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That looks good.
That does look good. So 37 total. Checking its armor again. Right. Okay. So. Okay. So you have managed to drive your spear deep into the lion's flank. And let me check a couple things here. So, wow, that's still, even with the critical success, that's still not enough to threaten a knockdown on the lion. This thing has a size of 40. But, did you do a major wound? You did do a major wound, yes. That's good, but the lion still has more than 20 hit points, so there's no chance that you knock it out. Okay. But nonetheless, the blood and the gore spurts forth from your mighty strike as you prepare to continue attacking. Now, for our 3 knights who are hanging back, waiting anxiously, you are searching for lion cubs. And that means that you have found a mated pair of lions. So, for Palomides, Sir Yvain, and Sir Gareth, you are watching all this going on. I'm going to need awareness rolls from the 3 of you. Excellent. So you all hear the low growl of the mother lion as she is coming up behind you, and you're able to wheel your horses around in time to intercept the attack. So she charges in. I'll do the same as I did with the other group to see which knight is not going to be attacked. Gareth is a 1 to 2, Yvain is 3 to 4, Palomides is a 5 to 6. So Gareth is the one who is not attacked. Do any of you want to impassion?
No.
Yes. I want to impassion with my honor. Being the animal on my coat of arms, I feel a special connection with these creatures, and I have one as a companion, and if I were to bring down one, that seems like it might add to my honor. So
You're the Knight of the Lion, after all. Yeah. Go for it. All right.
And you're still hunting lions?
He contains multitudes. All right, so that'll be a +10 on your spear. Any other impassionments?
I'm not going to impassion anything.
Actually, I have a lion on my coat of arms too.
That's true. Very similar. Okay, so with that, we will handle this attack. So let's get to it. Gareth, you can go ahead and make an unopposed attack roll. Excellent. And now the attack against Yvain is a 2. And the attack against Palomides is also a 2. Wow. Okay, so the 2 of you can strike back. Just roll better than a 2 and succeed. Nice.
And is spear my only option?
It is your best option from horseback, yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Phew.
All right.
Threaded that needle.
No kidding. A 3. Wow. All right. So everyone can roll damage.
And is it? Where on my sheet? I have the horse damage. Where on my sheet is the?
If you look up under attributes, it's going to be right after app, I believe.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yep. Okay, so we've got Gareth with a 18, Yvain with a 19, and Palamedes with a 22. Okay. All right, so 22, not bad. All right, so the three of you are all kind of, driving your spears into this lioness, who's hissing and growling at all of you. Meanwhile, over on to the first lion, so I see Dinadan did roll. Now, I see your damage roll there, but we're going to hold on that briefly because I have to see if I beat your 1. Wow. That's 3 1s in a row. What is going on with this dice roller? All right. That does beat your 1. And then we also had Tor. So Tor, go ahead, make an attack roll.
That's spear again, right?
Uh-huh.
With the +10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. That beats my 11. And so, Kay, what do you want to do? Would you like to draw your sword, or would you like to call for another spear? For Sir Kay.
Yeah, I'm going to call for another spear. Seems more appropriate hunting weapon.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and make your Squire roll then.
Yeah, so I'll roll for Squire.
Critical.
Critical with the spear. He was right on it.
He was right on it, which is great. That means not only do you get the spear, but you can actually attack this round too.
Okay.
So go for it. It's unopposed.
Right. Spear roll. Success.
Nice. Okay. So we have Dinadan lost that combat, so we'll take damage from the lion. The other two of you won the combat, so you will do damage to the lion. Let's do the lion damage first, and then I'll roll for Dinadan. Okay, an 11 from Kay. And Tor.
Oh, I roll my damage? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry, but just one more time, because I had the +10, that would be, and an 18, that would be 28. So I would crit at anything below an 8. Is that right?
28, you would crit on a 12 or better.
12 or better.
Yeah.
So anything under 12. Okay.
Yeah, you rolled a 14, so you're good. I mean, you scored a critical, yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's twice then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
Nice. 35. Okay. So you are going to... The lion is going to die at the end of this round. But not before it takes a chunk out of Dinadan. Let's see here. I'll just make my dice pool. All right, 7d6 damage. All right, so that's 30 points. You're going to subtract your armor. And also 6 points more because you did succeed, so you get your shield bonus.
So that's 15.
15 damage? Or 15
Yeah.
armor? Oh, doesn't matter, I guess.
Wait
Yeah,
a second,
okay.
let me double check my armor.
Yeah, let's see here.
Let's see. Partial plate and chivalry is 17.
Oh, 17. Okay, so plus 6 from your shield, you'd actually have 23 points of armor.
Okay, and you did 32?
30.
Okay. So, sorry, how much I had 16?
Yeah.
30.
7.
Yeah, seven points of damage gets through. So you take a 7-point wound. And the other thing we have to look at is your size, which is 16. So that is not an automatic knockdown, which would have to be double your size. So I will need a horsemanship roll from you as well to see if you can stay on your saddle.
Let's see.
Okay, good. So you stay seated in spite of the savage attack from the lion. But like I said, it is brought down. So let's go over to the lioness and see how that's going. So let's see here. We had who did I say was Palamedes was the one who was not being attacked, or no, Gareth actually. Yep. All right. So Gareth, you can make an opposed attack.
All right.
Against the lion. Ooh, fumble. And then, Palamedes and Yvain will do opposed rolls. All right, that is a 16.
Is it still impassioned, or is that just for one round?
The passion does still apply. Let's see, what are the claws again? Oh, yeah. Okay. So looks like I beat both of you. And Gareth had a fumble, so not a good round.
Sorry, mine should have. I didn't put the +10 on that. My bad.
Oh, okay. So that would be an 18 actually. If your spear, what's your spear normally?
My spear normally is 20. 20 even. 20
even. Okay, so that would boost it to an 18. I rolled an 18, so that's actually a tie. So good. So Palamedes lost, Gareth fumbled, and Yvain tied. Okay, so I'll be rolling damage against Palamedes. Gareth, your spear breaks as well. And let's see what kind of damage we do here. All right, well, 22. Is Palamedes chivalrous? That's the question.
Where will I see
that would be chivalry bonus right up under personality traits.
Yes, I am chivalrous.
Okay, good. All right, so that means your armor plus shield is going to absorb all of that damage. So I just need a horsemanship roll to see if you can stay mounted.
Kind of like to fall down so I can use my sword.
You can draw your sword on the next round, certainly. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, the main thing is that if you discard a weapon and then draw the sword, and then you still want to attack on the same round, you're just going to get a penalty. That's all. It's okay. A multi-action kind of thing. So, but yeah, if you want to draw your sword, that's perfectly fine. Okay, great. So let's see. We'll just continue fighting the lioness. So, Sir Gareth, what would you like to do with your broken spear? Would you like to call for a new spear or draw your sword?
I'll just draw my sword.
Okay. Would you like to attack on this round?
I would.
All right. You'll just have a -5.
All right.
And Palamedes, same question.
I will do the same. Draw my sword and attack with a -5.
You got it. All right. So Gareth, you are attacking unopposed, and that's a miss. All right. So let's get the opposed attacks from Palamedes and Yvain. Nice.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a critical. And Yvain wins. Okay. So, Yvain, go ahead and roll your damage. Okay. Kind of appropriate that the lioness is giving a much fiercer fight here. All right. I would like to apologize in advance to Palamedes for this critical damage roll I'm about to make. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's look at your armor.
Right.
Yeah. So you did
Armor's-
succeed. And you have full plate plus chivalry. Oh, that should actually be a 19 then. I'll just make that adjustment there. Okay, so that's 25 total points of armor protection. So that leaves 29 points.
Oh. Okay, I have 28 total hit points.
Oh. All right. Well, you're not dead yet. Yeah, but you are taken down by this lion. This lion just basically like hooks you with its claws and just pulls you down, like a rag doll. So Palamedes is down. Okay. Let's see here. And that was that. Okay. Ooh, all right. Does anyone want to ride in to take Palamedes' place?
How would we do that? Valorous or Glory?
Yeah. I mean, Sir Kay kind of has the glory, but is this kind of the heat of combat? So yeah, let's do 3 opposed glory valorous rolls rather. 13 for Kay, 7 for Tor, and Dinadan. Unless you don't want to ride in.
I think that's actually 21 on my Valorous, but it only showed up as 20 for the threshold.
Oh, I see. Yep, gotcha.
Oh, but am I still impassioned?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, but it would not apply to the valorous roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the 21 makes the 6 that you actually rolled into a 7.
Yeah. It does factor that in. Okay, and Dinadan, do you want to try this, or you want to hang back?
Try what?
To take Palamedes' place.
Actually, does Palamedes need a rescue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to pull him out from there,
That's what I will do.
Perfect. Okay, so Sir Kay, you're going to charge in.
Can I shout for my squire to tend to him?
Yes, you can send your squire forward as well. Absolutely. So Dinadan and the squire are going to haul Palamedes out from the combat.
Okay, and then I'll make a spear attack.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the lion is going to round on. Well, actually, let me do a fresh set of rolls here to see who's the unattacked party. Kay is a 1 to 2. Yvain is 3 to 4. Gareth is 5 to 6. All right, so Gareth, you are not going to be targeted by the lions. The lion is indeed rounding on Kay, and Yvain, of course, is still fighting. All right, so Kay, you rolled a 4. Let me reset my dice here. Gareth gets a 17. Okay. And Yvain? Hey, that looks like a critical. All right. Let me roll against Kay. I get a 13, and against Yvain, I get a 7. Okay, so let's get Gareth's damage first.
Now.
All right. Good. And let's get that critical damage from Yvain. All right. So that is a 34. All right. So that is going to slay the lion, but not before it gets a hit in on K. Fortunately, not a critical hit. So hopefully K will be okay here. Okay, so that's 30 points.
Is the shield assumed, or would it be on here?
Yeah, the shield is not on the character sheet, but like if you succeed like you did, a partial success, then you do get the plus 6 points. So
all right, so I have full plate plus the 6 for the shield is 22.
22. Okay, not bad. So you take an 8-point wound.
Yep.
And let's see, you are automatically unhorsed.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lioness rounds on you and like tries to drag and starts to drag you out of the saddle, just like she did for Dinadan. And as she does so, Gareth and Yvain come in with their weapons, and just finish her off basically, and she dies, growling and hissing. Okay, so we've got Palamedes in a bad way. So Kay, you said you dispatched your squire?
Yes.
Okay. Dinadan, what does your first aid look like?
Not great. It's 11.
All right. Is that better than Kay's squire?
It is not. He has a 14.
All right. So, Dinadan, up to you whether you want to allow the squire to dress Palamedes' wounds or whether you would insist on it.
I'm wondering if I make a merciful passion roll, could I get a bonus? Okay,
if you make a merciful roll, I'd say you defer to the squire, just since he'd have a better chance.
Okay, I would defer to the squire. I have a way high. There's no way I can fail my passion roll, and
perfect.
So
nice. Yeah, that's an example of a notable trait in action where it's like it pretty much just dictates what you're going to do. Okay, so Kay, go ahead and give me a roll for your squire's first aid.
So is this a live or die roll right here?
Yes, frankly.
Yeah. All right.
No pressure.
All right. Come on, Hifade the squire. Oh, yes.
All right.
Hifade, I'm in your debt.
Indeed. So
Part of
give
me
me
likes a dramatic death, but I'm glad it didn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. So give me a D3 roll, just out of curiosity. Okay. Okay. So Palamedes was at a -1, right?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So so basically what happens if you go negative, you have until sunset of that day to get brought back to 0 or better. So this was literally a life or death first aid roll because at a -1, all you need to do is succeed. Now, with that 1 hit point restored, you are now at 0, which means you're actually still comatose, But nevertheless, ironically, you're the one who ends up taking the major wound, and you're the one with the medicine skill, which is useful for treating major wounds. So, oh well. But yeah. So anyway, Palamedes is saved. He will live to fight another day, but he's laid up for right now. So, but very good. So, searching the area after killing these 2 lions reveals a little den with, a litter of mewling cubs inside.
Perhaps Lady Guinevere would like, however many more there are than the one we need.
Mm-hmm.
Since we killed both the parents, yes, we should probably take all of them.
Okay.
Yes, a lion cub skin doesn't make a very good carpet.
No, no. Although you have killed 2 lions, so actually, all of you get 83 glory for sharing in the kill of these 2 lions. And you pack up the cubs and are able to transport them back to Camelot with no problem.
I was wondering if, since I have a cub, since I have a lion in my device too, I was wondering if I might take one later and, keep it at my estate.
I like it. Absolutely. Okay, so yeah. So basically, you get back to Camelot. You have all your animals. You have the panther. So what is the final plan here for dealing with this dragon?
So doesn't the panther take 3 days to digest the food before it burps or something?
That is the tale. Yes.
But we still needed to be on site or close by. Is that right?
Presumably.
I think we should travel with the whole menagerie to where the dragon is.
Okay.
And then when we get within 3 days, we start feeding him.
Absolutely. All right. So you are headed to the region of Berwyn, which I'm marking on the map there. And yeah, I think you've done a pretty good job of securing everything. So I think all your P's and Q's are taken care of. So basically, the journey does take you 2 weeks. So let's see here. It was a week to hunt the lions, and then 2 weeks to get to the site. Okay. So it's been 6 weeks since you received word of this dragon's depredations, and sure enough, as you draw closer to the region, you begin to see signs of the dragon's presence. You see these scorched fields, you see burned out villages, and presently amongst the rolling hills, you can see grassland, up around the hilltops, just completely burned to ashes, and columns of smoke rising up from amongst the hills. So at this point, I will need everyone to make a valorous roll. Since you're all together, normally there'd be a -15 penalty, but it's shared out amongst all of you, so it's only a -3 to your valorous.
I think this, if it's possible, might always also be an opportunity for a love, family, passion, or...
Normally, passions don't apply to traits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, now at this point, am I able to ride in the saddle at least and just add one
yeah.
point or
So yeah, absolutely. It's been 2 weeks. We'll assume that you were transported in the cart. You brought a cart along when you went lion hunting, so you were transported in the cart back to Camelot, where you were tended to. So actually, yeah. Let's just for the sake of mechanics, you had 2 weeks to heal. So your healing rate on your character sheet there is how many hit points you heal every week.
Okay.
So that is going to be doubled, and you'll add that to your hit points. I made the roll for the chirurgeon in Camelot to basically when you take a major wound, you take on a state known as being debilitated, which just basically means anytime you try any kind of heavy duty action, you might take damage. So you were patched up enough that you're no longer debilitated. Let's see, your wound was healed with first aid. So I think just for the care at Camelot. That's okay. So you get back 3 hit points from the care you received there, and the rest plus your healing rate. So you're,
Right.
you know,
At
you're not
9.
100%, but you know, you're doing all right.
Sir K
Okay.
is down 8 hit points. Beyond healing rate, would he have recovered anything?
Yeah. So let's see. If you wanted to wait till you got back to Camelot for first aid,
Well, I could have done first aid in the field as well.
sure. If you're willing to do that,
Yeah.
okay, go for it.
Or not.
Or not. Hey, the odds are good
I'm
though.
down a bit. I wouldn't mind if the Camelot Curagen could have a go at me.
All right. So for Dinadan, you restored 2 hit points then.
Okay. And then 6 more for healing.
Yep. All right, and let's look at everybody's valorous rolls here. Let's see. I think I saw a critical. I did. Palomedes.
Yes.
you just don't know when to quit.
Exactly.
So this is
May
a
not
funny
be
example,
the sharpest
actually.
knife in the drawer, but
Well, he's very driven.
But he's brave.
That way. Yes, exactly. So this is a funny example of how the Pendragon mechanics can work at times, because I see that you had the -3, which reduced your valors from an 18 to a 15, and then you rolled a 15, which criticals. So sometimes that does happen. So very good. So Palomedes, you're actually, I don't know, is it personal now?
Oh yeah, yeah. Now I've shed my life's blood in the pursuit of this quest, and now I'll see it through to the end, even if it
Okay.
means the loss of the rest of my life's blood.
Woo. All right. Excellent. So yes, for your single-minded drive, I'd give you 10 glory for that for sure. And but everybody's all in on this dragon, so we'll assume that you know it's like you know what you're doing as knights. You know how to time these things. So you feed the panther methodically. You feed it the lion cub. You feed it the lamb. You feed it an eagle. You feed it a unicorn. You feed it a crane. The panther happily chows down on all of these, and as the more it consumes, the sort of more torpid it becomes, and gets a little slower and a little more sleepy, and then finally by the end, it barely polishes off, I don't know, the unicorn, I suppose, and then it falls into a slumber, and you begin your final march up into the Berwyn Hills. So, as you proceed, as I mentioned before, it's like basically you're riding into an area that was ravaged by a wildfire. The hilltops are just burned bare. There's ash and soot everywhere, and there's just no signs of life. There aren't even birds chirping or insects buzzing. There's just the smell of brimstone. And it takes you, 2.5 days to get up into the hills towards where the dragon makes its lair. And on the 3rd day of travel, you can see, the thickest columns of smoke you've seen yet. And in fact, you even see some flames shooting up from amidst some hilltops. And a horrible screeching roar emanates as the dragon catches the scent of your horses and of you, and it takes to the air. So the panther is beginning to wake up. I think Palomedes, you got that critical valorous. So if you want to lead the panther forward, it's on
That's
you.
exactly what I do.
All right. So, of course, this panther, being the queen's panther, has a nice bedazzled collar and a gold chain leash. And so you bring it forward. It sees the dragon, begins to growl menacingly as the dragon swoops down towards you and the panther emits a terrific belch that just immediately fills the entire region with a very pleasant odor. It's actually kind of like the sweetest smell you've ever smelled before, and it just immediately puts all of you at ease. But the dragon is hit by this fume and just roars in dismay, wheels back around, and then crashes to the ground and begins sort of crawling away from you. So what would you all like to do?
Is this an opportunity to ride forth and
Yeah.
dispatch it?
Ride forth
Absolutely.
and slay the
That's-
dragon.
Exactly.
Alrighty. I assume all of you are in on this?
Of course.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So its flame was immediately extinguished as soon as it inhaled the odor of the belch. So you don't have to worry about its flames. It is still dangerous, so we're gonna have to see how it plays out. But the thing is large enough that all of you can attack it. So in this case, we would definitely want to go in order of glory. So Sir Kay, you get the first shot.
So, could I invoke a passion for this? I want this whole thing to be a success because Guinevere is the one who basically, allowed us this to happen, and we don't want to be a failure. Could I invoke the secret amour for Guinevere?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
This would be a perfect time.
Yeah, you guys don't know about that though.
Kay just seemed really inspired for some reason. I have no idea.
All right, so
I
I
get
got
ahead when you say
It's just lands.
Yeah.
I got a success there, and I assume we're using lances.
Yes, I would assume
Okay.
so, unless you want to use something else. All right, so that's a plus 10 to your lance, and you can definitely do horse damage on this.
Yeah, so I put the plus 10 in the window, so yeah, that's just a success, right?
Yeah, let's see here. So your lance normally is a 19, so that would be a 29. Is it factoring that in is the question?
It is.
It is. Yep. Okay, great. So that would be
All right.
regular success, so go ahead and roll your horse damage.
Horse damage is 38.
Excellent. All right, let me check this thing's armor one more time. Right, okay. So, and okay. All right, cool. So yeah, you drive your lance into this thing and manage not to shatter it. So well done. All right, who's next highest in glory?
9850 plus 133 would be what? 9933.
Wow.
Sounds pretty high.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Okay. I'd like to impassion as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just to spread it around. Would my loyalty lord be applicable since these are the lands? I don't know. Is that my daddy or is that Arthur?
Technically, they're Arthur's lands, so
Okay.
yeah, loyalty lord would absolutely apply.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, good. So plus 10 on that lance attack.
Lance or spear? I'm sorry.
If you want to do a lance charge with the horse damage, then it would be lance.
Okay. Yeah. Two 14s.
Interesting. All right, let's just see here. So, let's see, that's a 28. So plus 8 to your 14, that is a critical success.
Yay.
So you're going to do double horse damage.
The horse damage would be under the horses, right? Okay.
So what is that? 52. All right. Ouch. All right. So. All right. Yeah, you are. You're really just absolutely attacking this thing unmercifully. Driving your lances in like a foot or more. As you do so, black blood and smoke come out of the wounds. Let's see. I'll just check its major wound threshold here. Oh yeah. So yeah, this thing is grievously wounded. Who's got the next highest glory?
I'm in the 7950 range.
Might be you.
You're over me. I'm a little over 5,000.
Yeah, I'm 4,200, so I'm way low.
All right, Plomedes.
All right, so I'll ride forward with my lance.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
And horse damage.
So.
All right, 22. Okay. So close to that critical success. All right. And next up would be Yvain, I assume?
I think so, yes. I'm 5913.
Yep.
I would also like to impassion for my lord, King Arthur. In his name, we will slay this dragon.
Excellent.
All right. Let's see. Lance. So that's a 30, so it's plus 10. All right.
Hey.
Well.
There you go. All right, double horse damage. Okay, so very good. Another telling blow. Let's see. All right, so that just leaves Sir Gareth.
I think I'm next.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
I will invoke my passion for King Arthur also.
Excellent.
So. Just a sec.
Good.
So, Lance. There we go.
Okay. Good enough. And let's see. Just make sure that did that correctly. So your lance is normally a 20, so it'd be a 30. So that would actually be a 15. So still not a crit though. All right, go ahead and roll regular
Force damage.
Force damage. Yeah. Excellent. All right, now Gareth.
All right, I am going to invoke my honor because I promised the queen that I would return the panther safe and unharmed, and if we don't kill this right away, that may not happen.
Yeah, you definitely want to kill it on the first round. Oh no! Oh, no. Oh boy! All right. Well, your lance is going to be at a -5 then.
All right. It never fails. When I play Pendragon, I roll tons of 20s. When I play D&D with the same dice, I roll 1s.
Yeah. Yep. I know somebody like that. All right. Alrighty. So Gareth, coming in at the end, the chance to coup de grace this dragon, it slips through your fingers. Okay, so the dragon has been grievously wounded. Let's see here. Actually, the good news here is that although you did not kill it, you did reduce it below its unconscious threshold. So I'm going to give it a chance to a dice roll to see if it fights on. If I roll an 11 or less, it will fight on. Otherwise, it succumbs to its wounds and falls unconscious. And I roll a 15, so the dragon is not quite slain, but has succumbed to its these attacks, and is actually susceptible now to a coup de grace.
Sir K, you have the glory, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, I will. I will draw my sword and coup de grace the dragon.
All right. So Sir Kay, who has been longing for a little taste of adventure to get
That's
him
right.
away from the kitchens and the courts, with a mighty stroke, beheads the dragon with one swipe, and yeah, well done, everybody. You've killed the Berwyn dragon. You have ensured that the Queen's Panther is returned unharmed. You completed the adventure of the Great Hunt.
Yay.
All right.
Nice job.
Huzzah!
Good stuff.
Yeah. So let me give you your final glory awards here. Let's see here. Okay, so for sharing in the victory over the dragon, all of you get an additional 117 glory. How's that for a precise number? And plus, each of you get an additional 120 glory for completing the hunts and ensuring the panther's survival.
How much
So-
was that second one? I'm sorry.
120.
120. Okay.
So as a final note, who did the best, glory-wise?
370.
Yeah, that's what I'm
392.
at.
Oh, 392. Okay. Anybody beat that?
Okay, got 365.
Oh, so close. All right. So it sounds like Sir Dinadan takes the title as the most glorious knight, which seems appropriate. So yeah, so that's us complete in just about 4 hours, which I mean,
Wow.
this is intended as a
Yeah.
convention scenario, so that's pretty good.
Great.
Well done, everybody.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. And I don't
That
know,
was
any-
the first and only time I've played Pendragon so far, and it was amazing. was great.
Yeah,
wonderful.
I really enjoyed that.
Well, I
Yeah,
used to have this. I used to have this preconception that since everybody's a knight, it might get a little boring. But the fact of the matter is, because of the personality traits and everything, it actually makes every character very different as long as you play to that strength of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say that the point of Pendragon is to play to find out what kind of knight you are. You know, it's everybody's a knight, but what kind of knight are you? You know, and that's where the fun of the game lies.
Yeah, that's where it really gets fun is when you play to your traits. You know, trying to
Absolutely, yeah.
do or not do certain things just because, like, well, yeah, I'm really generous, so I will, give away all this, fortune that we just got, or, I'm forgiving, so I will, not seek revenge against this trespass against me, and,
Yeah.
certain things like that. So,
Or I'm reckless and I'll attack this person at court even though it's a breach of protocol. You know, like I mean,
Yeah.
it really does drive these very dramatic moments.
yeah,
which is-
I had one that was super reckless, and it's like we were getting attacked by, we're in a big, huge battle, and I'm just going off to fight without my armor, even though I realized that's really, really a bad idea, and of course it killed me because of that. But yeah, it's like
yeah.
I played the character totally the way he would have been, because he's like, 18 or 19 or reckless. I'm like, there's no way I'm putting my armor on and taking the time. I'm going to kill Saxons and invoke my hatred. So
yeah. Exactly. So Yeah, nobody went mad either, which is always a monkey wrench in the things sometimes.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's really quite remarkable the variation you get in the play experience. So I'm glad everyone had fun with it.
It's a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
David.
Now I want to
Enjoyed
play.
it a lot.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
very much, David.
Thank
Oh
you,
yeah.
David.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
My
running. That was
pleasure.
cool.
And everybody else, I think we were a really
Yeah.
good group together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys did great. Yeah, you got your roles and you knew what to do, and you know did the hunts the way they needed to be done. So really good job, everybody. Really good.